Field South.
Oh, absolutely. Half this stadium tonight is going to be full of Cub fans. They've been waiting an awful long time, a lot longer than the Braves.
All right. He is public enemy #1 and should be grateful the series blew out of the Windy City. Robert Fick and his tomahawk chop on Eric Karros has made what Mark Manning cut his bank account by a few dollars. Kevin, he's saying he didn't do it on purpose.
Well, he did do it on purpose. I mean, he wasn't trying to hurt Eric Karros. He's trying to knock the ball out of Eric's glove. I have never seen that before for all the world to see. I've seen catchers being taken out legally. I've seen second basemen be taken out legally. But that was an illegal play. He deserved to be fined. And he's not playing tonight, so there's no retaliation, Jeannie.
All right, how about the big finish? John Smoltz admitting he spent the inning looking ahead to Sammy and thinking about the elbow.
I know I was coming in to get ice. I know I can make good pitches and get guys out. That's really the extent of it.
John Smoltz definitely not 100%. I mean, you see him grimacing on the mound. I noticed that he didn't have the feel for the pitch. He was grabbing his hand, his right hand, and he got away with one on Sammy Sosa last night. Almost out of the ballpark. That would have tied it. John knew it, yet he has pitched hurt before. He can definitely get it done.
I didn't want to admit it, but deep down in my heart, I just felt it was going to go 5 games.
He's got stuff, so we hope that he makes a few mistakes, and you know, we're on our toes. We can hit a few of them.
We gotta solve the riddle that is Kerry Wood.
Now, it may not come down to John Smoltz. I mean, it's all about figuring out Kerry Wood, as you just heard Bobby Cox say, and Chipper Jones. I mean, this guy's throwing 97 miles an hour, dominant. They got Mike Hampton. What you got to do with Mike Hampton? Make him work the count. He'll walk a lot of guys, as he did in the first inning the other night. If he gets in trouble early, that's when you got to get to him. Let him work the count, draw some walks, get some base hits early. Kerry Wood, you're looking for #1 right away. The Braves are going to jump on #1 immediately.
All right, let's talk about another pitcher. To bad news today from Tim Hudson. He could not hide the injury. He left today's Game 4 at Fenway after 1 inning with a strain, they're saying, in his left oblique muscle. Now, the A's say they are not sure if he'll be available for the championship series, but you got to get there first, right, Kevin?
Absolutely, and he was knocked out, and so were the Oakland A's by David Ortiz. His first hit of the series, a double in the 8th inning with 2 outs, and the Boston Red Sox force a Game 5, Jeannie, Zeta against Pedro Martinez. What a great matchup tomorrow night.
But wait, there's more. All is well with the Yankees.
David Wells pitched well. Matsui got it done again, opening up the ball game right there. After Bernie Williams drove in a run, he would score, and that's Matsui double. And then Nick Johnson gets his first hit of the series. He was struggling down there in the 9th spot. He would open up the ball game. I mean, a 6-run 4th inning for the New York Yankees. David Wells getting it done with defensive help from Derek Jeter right there. The Yankees were on all cylinders today, no question about it. I thought Wells would pitch well, extremely well, especially against the left.
You say well in one sentence.
It was a very good day for the Yankees.
There you go.
And he did. And he puts the Yankees right there where they want to be. More sense of urgency. That's where they played this time around. Look at the brackets. Boston waiting to see if they can do it and match up against the Yankees. And, of course, our game tonight, unbelievable. The Cubs and Braves Game 5 tomorrow. Pedro and Barry
Zito. We talk about this. This should be a great matchup. We're talking about three days rest.
Well, Barry's never done it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, come on. He's got the hammer for the curveball. He'll be ready. Pedro definitely be ready. I mean, it's one of the best games of the year. There's no question about that. The Yankees waiting to see if they match up against the Red Sox or if the Oakland A's are finally going to advance, which they haven't done in the last few years.
All right. All season long, Fox Sports and Sprint, Kevin, as you know, have been interactive. And during tonight's game, you're going to get the chance again to make your voice heard with Sprint Virtual Manager. Use your PCS Vision phone from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com to vote. We need to take you out to the ball game. Quick pick, Kevin. Come on. I'm giving you some of my airtime.
I think Kerry Wood's going to be dominant again tonight. I just think his stuff is that good. 97 fastball, a hammer for a curveball. Mike Hampton, if he gets out of the first inning, he'll be okay.
All right. Everything is on the line. The Cubs' resiliency has been tested all season. Here we go again. But can the Braves really be on the verge of another postseason disappointment? One team moves on. The other gets a long vacation.
This October, Fox is telling these beautiful European women that this $11,000 a year cowboy is worth $80 million in oil. We lied. Again.
And now to the best part, he's rich.
The next Joe Millionaire, an international affair. Monday, October 20th on Fox.
no two are the same. Their lives are as different as concrete and consulting, medicine and manufacturing. Here's to the small business owners, separated by the differences in where each is going, bound by the confidence they'll get there. Seeing small business differently. SBC.
We've all heard of Type A personalities and Type B. Then there's Type D, Dodge people who do it all. They grab the rugged Dakota Quad Cab SXT, the head-turning Stratus SXT, or the sporty Neon SXT, with 0% financing for 60 months or up to $2,000 cash allowance. All with Dodge's 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Free to Type D and you. Get to your Dodge dealer and get the best values in America.
Get your home in shape for winter and don't pay till spring. Now at Menards. Save energy and money with John's Manville fiberglass insulation. It's all on sale. Plus, get up to $250 in rebates when you purchase John's Manville fiberglass insulation. Stop energy leaks around windows with insulator kits by Dennis. Choose from this kit for single windows or this kit for oversized windows. $4.94 each after $2 rebate. Seal in big savings at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
94.7 The Zone. New rock.
Killing in the name of
harder, louder, faster.
Straight out of
The Zone rocks. Get up. Mornings with Brooke and Jill. If it rocks.
Wake up, wake up.
It's new rock. 94.7 The Zone.
Tonight after Game 5, stay tuned for the post-game show live from Atlanta on Fox Chicago.
A raucous sellout crowd on hand at Turner Field in Atlanta for Game 5, the decisive game of this National League Division Series between the Chicago Cubs and the Atlanta Braves. And a pleasant good evening to you. Alongside Tim McCarver, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to playoff baseball on Fox. The Cubs have not won a postseason series in 95 years, 1908, when they last won the World Series. But they certainly like their chances, Timmy, tonight with Kerry Wood on the mound.
He is an overwhelming talent. He beat the Braves last Tuesday night, retiring 22 Braves in 7 1/3 innings, half of those in strikeouts. Devastating slider, and on the other side of the ball contributed to his own cause with a double in the 6th inning. I think the one thing you may see the Braves do against Kerry Wood tonight is take early in the count, because he does have a tendency to be wild. He walked 103rd in the National League this year.
Mike Hampton will get the ball on 3 days rest for the Atlanta Braves. He pitched very well in Game 2. 5 times in Hampton's career has he pitched on 3 days rest. His record, 3-0 with an ERA at 2.61. Couple of injury factors. Gary Sheffield is back in the lineup for Atlanta, and an inning-by-inning proposition for Kyle Farnsworth.
Talked to Dusty Baker about Farnsworth, that they can have Farnsworth pitch for them at some time during the game tonight. The Cubs could be in trouble in the late innings.
Well, here we are, Game 5. The Chicago Cubs against the Atlanta Braves. The winner will collide with the Florida Marlins in the National League Championship Series beginning Tuesday night. The winner could be long for the loser.
Gina, check this out. I'm sitting next to your new boyfriend. Don't you just love your new boyfriend?
I do love him.
As long as you're happy.
Picture mail that talks from Sprint. At Sprint stores, choose from a wide selection of picture phones starting at $99.99. Share it when it happens.
Donald, you shouldn't eat that way. It's okay, I had Subway for lunch.
Subway, delicious low-fat sandwiches, so you can feel good about being good and okay about being bad.
There's no easy way to say this.
Just kidding. You're fine. It's okay. I had Subway. I can't look at your face.
Subway, good, so you don't always have to be.
Come on in, Derek. Derek, I thought we had this thing worked out. I hear you're out dancing, eating, and just carousing with your friends. Is it true you're going out every night?
Absolutely not.
Good.
If you want to enjoy the New York nightlife, bring your Visa card, because Orso, Cheetah, and the Broome Street Bar don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Hey, Derek, we are running late. Sorry.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, make every mile count. By Sprint, proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Subway, good, so you don't always have to be. Subway, eat fresh. Mike Hampton and the Atlanta Braves set to square off with Dusty Baker's Chicago Cubs in this decisive game of this best-of-5 series. And here's Dusty's starting lineup. Kenny Lofton will lead off in center field. Mark Resolanek at second base. And Sammy Sosa, with just 1 RBI in the series, is in right field. Moises Alou is in left. Aramis Ramirez at third, with Eric Karros on at first. Alex Gonzalez a shortstop. Damian Miller behind the plate. And Kerry Wood is on the mound. Mike Hampton during the regular season, a 14-8 record. A good solid bounce back year for Hampton after a couple of down years in Colorado.
And there's a big difference in the two pitchers that you'll be seeing tonight. Mike Hampton is a contact pitcher, meaning that he tries to get the hitters to make contact, particularly on the ground. A tight, compact delivery. He must stay down. A deceptive tight slider. And it's just the opposite for Kerry Wood. He does not have a tight, compact delivery. He doesn't have to stay down. And he does not have a deceptive tight slider. His is more of a swirler.
Timmy, you said to me before we got started here that you thought walks for each of these pitchers could be maybe the determining factor of winning and losing.
It could have been the determining factor the other night as Hampton walked the first two Cubs to face him in Game 2. That was last Wednesday. And Kerry Wood walked 5 and 7 1/3 on Tuesday night.
Here we go. Kenny Lofton digging in at .296 during the regular year. 12 home runs, 46 batted in, 4 of 17 in the series. He looks at ball one, and we are underway. Our broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. Great to have you with us. A beautiful night in Atlanta, and the crowd into it already. Hammered into right field. Giving chase is Sheffield, and it's up against the wall. A leadoff double for Kenny Lofton.
Kenny Lofton with his third postseason team. So many years with Cleveland. Last year with the San Francisco Giants and Dusty Baker. And this year for the Cubs. Obtained from the Pirates right at the trade deadline. An inside fastball. Hampton tried to get in. So Mark Resolanek, you don't really know whether he's up there to bunt. If he fails to get him over, Lofton, a stolen base threat at second base.
And bunting on the first pitch from Hampton is Resolanek, who had 7 sacrifices during the regular year. He fouls it off. The Cubs with runners in scoring position so far in this series, just 9 of 43. A .209 batting average. Each team has scored 14 runs in a series. Atlanta with 3 home runs. Chicago with a pair. An early scoring chance for the Cubs. Bunted foul, and it's 0-2. Boy, the little things are the largest things.
Well, sometimes the failure to get a runner over can turn into a good thing for a ball club, too. Grudzielanek, a contact hitter, a tough two-strike hitter. And I don't think he'll be bunting with 2 strikes now, because the odds are much better for him to swing away. That 2-strike bunt, it's good for pitchers and pitchers alone.
Down and into Grudzielanek. Still 0-2. Bobby Cox and Dusty Baker both in very good spirits before the ball game today. Both very much liking their team's chances of advancing on. You see very good numbers for Grudzielanek against Hampton. But this time he struck him out.
This is a disappearing fastball down and into Grudzielanek. Thing about Mike Hampton, no, that was a slider. That was not a fastball. It disappeared, I know that. Tight spin on that one. This is a tough choice right here. You're in the first inning. Do you pitch around Sosa? You can't walk him because Moises Alou, the hottest Cub hitter.
Sosa 3 of 13 in the series. His lone RBI came against Hampton in the first inning of Game 2. Strike 1. Sammy disagreeing with that strike called by home plate umpire Jeffrey Kellogg. Dusty Baker brought his San Francisco Giants here to Turner Field last year and won the decisive Game 5, advancing on to the NLCS. 1-1 to Sosa. Sammy, 40 home runs during the regular season, 103 runs batted in. 10th on the all-time home run list with 539 career home runs. In the dirt, and Lofton will advance to third on the wild pitch.
Yeah, that's a ball that should have been fielded by Javi Lopez. Javi with his best year offensively. That ball right there, whenever you see a catcher extend that glove out, he exposes the heel of the glove, the hardest part of the catcher's mitt, and it caroms off of that. See guys with good hands like Pudge Rodriguez make plays like that, but often that's the wrong way to go about it.
Infield conceding the run except for Julio Franco at first base. Anything hit right at him, if the runner breaks, he'll come to the plate. And I would imagine the runner's going on contact in the opening inning tonight.
Sure. On any ground ball to anybody on the infield except the guy in your screen, Mike Hampton.
3-1 to Sosa. And he walks him. They're on the corners with one away, and Alou coming up.
Another big difference between the two pitchers tonight. With the runner on at third base and less than 2 out, Kerry Wood can get the strikeout. It's very difficult for Mike Hampton to get the strikeout because he has to stay down in the strike zone. And usually balls down on the strike zone as we in the strike zone, as we said earlier, those are the ones that hitters make contact on. So don't look for too many strikeouts with the runner on at third and less than 2 outs from Hampton.
Well, Lewis had an outstanding series. 8 hits and 16 at bats. Swing and a miss. Alou in his career a .391 hitter against Mike Hampton.
So far, the Cubs have not been patient on those sliders down and in by Hampton.
Lofton started the inning with a double into right field. Went to third on a wild pitch. Sosa walked. They're on the corners with one away. Down and away. And that's a pitch Hampton is hoping that Alou will pound into the ground at one of his middle infielders.
That's exactly right. Whenever you're watching a game and you see a pitcher going away with the fastball, that's your double play ball. Pitchers never pitch hitters inside to get double play balls. It's always away.
A ball and a strike to Moises Alou. Way through that pitch down and away.
Again, out of the strike zone. If the Cub hitters continue to swing at that pitch, there's no sense to throw him a strike.
Well, in years past, it has been a laid-back Turner Field crowd. Anything but tonight. Alou did not chase it this time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now, Dusty Baker admitted even before the ball game that he has been far more aggressive with his base runners in this series than at any time during the regular year. You think any chance Sosa gets started? 2-2 pitch?
I don't think 2-2, but 3-2, you can book it.
Fouled away, and Sosa was not running.
Sammy Sosa with his first stolen base of the year last Tuesday night. After only 1 attempt all year, he was caught stealing 1 time and got his first stolen base.
And they have put him in motion 2 or 3 times already in this series.
Yeah, right.
Hampton runs it up and in to Alou. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
That's why you don't want to run him until the count is 3-2. 2-2's not a good time to run him because the pitcher may go out of the zone, which Hampton did. Now he'll be running.
The Cubs scored twice off Hampton in the opening inning of Game 2, a game they lost. 3-2 pitch. Sosa not going, and it's in the air, short left field. It will fall in front of Chipper Jones. Scoring is Kenny Lofton, and Chicago on the board.
The sequence to Moises Alou. Hampton never threw him a strike. 2-2. Now the 3-2 pitch, or the 2-2 pitch fouled away. Now it's 3-2. Off the plate, and an RBI single for the Cubs' hottest hitter, Moises Alou.
Alou now 9 of 17 in the series. He has 3 runs batted in. And now Aramis Ramirez, who's also had a pretty good series. 4 of 14. Hit 27 home runs during the regular year. Ramirez, along with Kenny Lofton, came over from the Pirates on the 22nd of July. The Cubs at the time were 1 game over 500. After the trade, 38 and 25. 2-0.
Talking about that ball Moises Alou hit, Sosa couldn't get a good read. That ball had enough hang time. Had Sosa gone on contact, he's on third base. But because he couldn't get a good read on it, he had to stop at second and make sure.
Reno on Ramirez. Already 21 pitches here in the opening inning for Mike Hampton, and he's only recorded 1 out.
Runner on third, scoring easily. Sammy Sosa having to hold up on that ball hit to left field. And he's been off on contact. He's on third base. But because Chipper Jones was close to it, he had to stay at second.
Strike at the knees, 3-1 on Ramirez. Ramirez in his 63 games with Chicago after coming over from the Pirates hit 15 home runs, knocked in 39 runs. Without getting Lofton, Ramirez, and Randall Simon, the Cubs aren't playing here tonight.
Dangerous situation right here.
Tap to the left side. Castilla will go to second. Thomas tries to turn it, not in time.
Ramirez grounding into 21 double plays this year. Terrific defense on the infield by the Braves. Castilla making sure one. Almost turned by Marcus Giles. Watch a takeout slide by Alou. Causing the throw not to be as strong as it normally would. Fine try by Giles.
Now Eric Karros, 6 hits and 12 at-bats. Hit a pair of home runs in last night's Chicago loss at Wrigley Field. Flying away ball 1 to Karros. A ball and a strike. Karros spent 12 seasons with the Dodgers and left L.A. as the all-time Los Angeles Dodger franchise leader in home runs. Duke Snider is the all-time Dodger home run record holder. Ground and foul. Karros got Russ Ortiz to make it a 4-2 game leading off the 6th inning last night, and then got Will Pinane in the 8th inning. Two and two to Eric Karros. Runners on the corners, 2 away. Break-even pitch is in the air and fouled out of play.
That's the one thing Karros has done the last 3 years. He did it the last 2 years with the Dodgers under Jim Tracy. Jim encouraging Eric, that the older you get, the more you have to go the other way, particularly with 2 strikes. You saw him pull the ball foul down the third baseline, trying to go the other way with that fastball.
Runners at first and third. Again a 2-2. Hampton thought it was strike 3. He was on his way to the dugout, and Jeffrey Kellogg said, hold on a minute. Bobby Cox and Leo Mazzoni letting Jeffrey Kellogg have it.
I think everybody went for the head fake there. Jeff Kellogg, watch his right shoulder. A momentary budge. Right there. Normally when an umpire will do that, an umpire's got rhythm like that. Looked like he wanted to punch him out, but didn't.
He does punch him out in the 3-2, and that'll end the inning. But the Cubs get a run. A leadoff double by Lofton. Alou knocks him in. Kerry Wood will take the ball, looking for his 2nd win of this series.
Got a situation. Push the 20. I'm there.
Do you have the right truck? Does your truck have a big block Vortec V8 and an Allison transmission? Does it have the most torque of any gas-powered heavy-duty pickup? Silverado. It's the right truck from Chevy. The most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Inside that flashlight behind the new halogen bulb is something familiar. A battery. And while it may not be the biggest decision of your day, consider this. When the Rocky Mountain Rescue Group needs light to save lives, they trust Duracell. So, whether it's lighting up a mountain rescue or illuminating a world of wizards and hobbits, it just has to work. Duracell. Trusted everywhere.
Turn up the heat with new Dentyne Fire. This is no ordinary gum. Ruby red shell outside, intensely cinnamon inside. It's new. It's cinnamon. It sizzles. New Dentyne Fire. Spark something.
Heartburn?
Yeah, I tried Pepsid AC, but it takes like 40 minutes to start working.
Tums starts neutralizing acid fast. I'm taking Prilosec OTC. Read the label. That can take 1 to 4 days to fully kick in.
Delayed release tablet.
Delayed release. Should say delayed relief. Take Tums. Nothing's faster.
It's got the calcium I need.
What more do you want? I want Tums.
Always fast, always calcium, Tums.
26-year-old Grand Prairie, Texas native Kerry Wood set to begin the bottom half of the first inning. Here's the lineup he'll be facing under manager Bobby Cox. Raphael for a call. The shortstop Marcus Giles at second. Gary Sheffield back in the lineup for the first time since getting hit on the hand by Mark Pryor in Game 3. Chipper Jones in left. Javi Lopez catching. Andrew Jones in center. A ladder third of Franco, Castilla, and Hampton.
266 strikeouts, the most in the major leagues this year. His scouting report, an explosive fastball and slider, but his control could be a problem. Durability, no problemo.
First pitch swinging for call. And a broken bat roller of Grezolana. Zero patience on the very first pitch from Wood by Furcall.
I was thinking the same thing. And for a guy like Kerry Wood, who has walked 100 batters, third in the National League, Russ Ortiz walked 102. That was the most. But if you're a guy like Raphael Furcall, he's got some power, but you've got to take it early in the count against Kerry Wood, first time through the lineup.
Marcus Giles homered off Kerry Wood in Game 1 into left field. Fastball in there at 97 miles per hour. So the big Texan bringing the heat early.
Grand Prairie heat.
Indeed. And there's that knee-buckling breaking ball of Kerry Wood. If he's throwing that for strikes, it could be a long night for the Atlanta Braves. 2-2. Giles, a .316 hitter during the regular season, 21 home runs, 4 of 10 so far in this series. First strikeout of the night for Kerry Wood.
Overpowering fastball from Wood to get Marcus Giles. This is going to be interesting with Gary Sheffield coming up. Gary swinging. I heard you and Steve Lyons last Tuesday night talking about how Sheffield was swinging so hard he was off balance. And he can do that. What's cooking, folks?
Sheffield playing for the first time since he took this pitch off the hand from Mark Pryor. They feared at first it may have been broken, but x-rays were negative. Sheffield sat out Game 4, back in the lineup tonight. Fooled on that slider.
This is bordering on unfair right there.
Oh, 2. Threw it again. Sheffield checks his swing. They appeal, and Bill Cousy said he didn't go around. Chipper Jones waiting in the on-deck circle, hoping for a first inning at bat. He homered twice in the Atlanta win last night. And Sheffield a base hit into center field.
That's why that was such an interesting battle. A blistering fastball and blistering bat speed by Sheffield. Right back through the box and hit hard off Wood.
Chipper Jones, we mentioned a pair of home runs at Wrigley Field in Game 4 late yesterday afternoon, early last night. And Chipper took over the all-time National League Division Series lead with his 7th and 8th career home runs, breaking the mark at 6 he shared with Ken Caminetti. That fastball at 98 miles per hour from Kerry Wood.
Saw that throw over by Wood. One of the more remarkable statistics in the big leagues this year is that even though Kerry Wood is a power pitcher, only 5 stolen bases against him in 13 tries. Very unusual.
Why?
Reason for that is he throws to first a lot, and the reason it's unusual is because to be a power pitcher and throw a ball 98 miles an hour, you have to have a high leg kick. Wood is so strong, his leg kick isn't as high as most power pitchers, so he gets it home quicker.
Jones, prior to last night's game at Wrigley Field, only had 1 hit in the series for the first 3 games. Takes a breaking ball that got away from Kerry Wood high. 2 balls and a strike. So Chipper Jones batting from the left side is showing some of the patience you talked about that we did not see from the other left-handed batter in the inning for Cole.
Call swinging at the first pitch, but Jones in a good hitting position here.
Fastball to knee, strike 2.
As Chipper takes one right down the pipe. Well, Wood throws enough breaking balls behind in the count that you can't always guess fastball.
Breaking ball, strike 3 called, and Jones has words with Jeff Kellogg. 1 hit, 1 left, 1-0 Cubs.
Hello.
Hey, it's Susie. I'm in the neighborhood. I thought I'd stop by.
I don't know if that's a good idea. My place is kind of,
I've got some Bud Light.
Come on up.
Nice place.
Thanks. I'll put this in the fridge. Make yourself at home.
Okay.
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down.
A bowling ball.
Make it a Bud Light.
It's always been our dream to run a bed and breakfast. Then I had to go on chemo, and it just drained me.
If you're on chemo and feel tired, you may be anemic.
We even talked about canceling our guests.
Talk to your doctor about Procrit for chemotherapy-related anemia in patients with most kinds of cancer. Procrit helps rebuild red blood cells, and more red blood cells can mean more strength.
Here come the meals.
Procrit is proven and safe. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo.
Here, there's no slowing down.
The world is full of individuals with their own personalities, their own quirks, their own fingerprints. They cannot be put in a box. Why should they drive one? The V6 Nissan Altima.
Burger King introduces the Santa Fe fire-grilled chicken baguette. With only 5 grams of fat, it gets its flavor from fire grilling. You'll think you've dieted and gone to heaven. Come on over. The fire's ready.
Buy it now on DVD.
Oh my God!
What do you want? Dreamcatcher. Buy it now on DVD and video.
Sunday, November 2nd, the fear will be here. It's the most terrifying chase with death you've ever seen. All new Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, Sunday, November 2nd on Fox.
I always said I was going to be playing professional baseball. Yeah, that's all I ever talked about. The thing that means most to me is I want to be remembered as a Yankee. You either love us or hate us. I mean, I enjoy playing at home in front of the greatest fans in the world. And I also enjoy going on the road, people booing us and hating us. The bottom line is when you compete, you want to win. I live for this.
Watch the World Series on Fox beginning October 18th. Don't miss it.
Mike Hampton allowed a run on a couple of hits in the opening inning and trails 1-0 as we open the second. Game 5 of this National League Division Series, and the winner will advance on to the National League Championship Series against the surprising Florida Marlins. Of course, anyone who saw Jack McKeon's team play over the final 4 months of the year would not be surprised. That ball hammered into deep left center field by Gonzalez. Goodbye. Alex Gonzalez, a career-high 20 home runs during the regular season. He got his first hit of this series last night.
Gonzalez, a guy who loves the high fastball. That looked like a high slider from Hampton. That ball was hit a ton to center field. That was Socian.
Indeed it was, and this is very much a pitcher's ballpark here at Turner Field.
Trying to go away, just stayed up around the letters. I guess it was a fastball. Hit very hard for the Cubs' second run.
The Sarge, Gary Matthews, a hitting coach under Dusty Baker. Of course, he was on that Chicago Cubs team the last time they had a chance to move on in the postseason. In Game 5, ground ball hit to short. Recall gobbles it up, and Damian Miller retired. That's after the Cubs in 1984, when the National League Championship Series was a best-of-5. The Cubs won the first 2 games against San Diego and then lost 3 consecutive games.
Won the first 2 games at Wrigley Field, and then in Game 5, the error on Leon Durham. Ball hit by Tim Flannery. And San Diego went on to lose to the Detroit Tigers in 5 games in the World Series.
Strike 1 to Kerry Wood. 10 hits and 61 at-bats during the regular season, including 2 home runs. He had a 2-run double in that 4-run 6th inning in Game 1.
Not all balls, Tom, that are hit out of the ballpark are mistakes. But that ball he threw to Gonzalez was a mistake, particularly to that hitter. Alex Gonzalez, a real high ball hitter. Perhaps a guy who likes the high ball more than any other Cub. There's the fastball. Good location from Hampton.
One and 2 to Kerry Wood. And he's going on strike. 3rd strikeout tonight for Mike Hampton. Well, here is tonight's Sprint Virtual Manager question. Which is worse? The Braves making the playoffs 12 straight years and winning only 1 championship, or the Cubs not winning a postseason series in 95 years? To answer today's question, use your PCS Vision phone from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com and type in the keyword MLB on Fox. Timmy, I don't know about you. For me, that's an easy one.
Well, I forgot my phone. I was scrambling for my phone to press it in, so I'll let you do it.
I mean, the Braves making the playoffs 12 straight years. I mean, you know, granted, they've won 1 World Series, but just about any team in baseball would take those 12 straight trips to the postseason.
In a second. They were in 5 World Series in the 90s.
That question for me is a no-brainer.
Everybody keeps going back to only 1 win. That was 1995. David Justice home run against Tommy Glavine in Game 6 in the parking lot, about 250 feet from here.
High tapper, Castilla in the air, throws in time to get walked. A nice play by Vinny Castilla. Well, the Cubs score for a 2nd straight inning. Gonzalez, his first home run of the series, 2-0 Cubbies.
They said its off-road capabilities verged on overkill.
Tow rag.
They said others may be as quick, capable, and handle as sharply, but few can match it on all of the above.
Tow rag.
They said it was everything you could want in a luxury SUV, but for 20 grand less. In fact, the only thing the experts couldn't say was the name.
Touareg.
Introducing the Touareg, easily named Car and Driver's Best Luxury SUV for 2003.
Introducing Taco Bell's new spicy chicken burrito. It's a little spicy. Taco Bell's new spicy chicken burrito, packed with shredded chicken, simmered in Mexican spices. It's tasty, filling, and only $1.29. To get your fill of this satisfying thrill, think outside the bun.
Program in the first, $4. Snacks in the fourth, $25. A soda at the end of the seventh, $3. Friday night, no TV, DVDs, or video games. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Devoted fan of Major League Baseball.
When you work hard to make the best wireless network even better.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Everyone starts to notice. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
The Division Series on Fox, brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. By MasterCard, there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. Welcome back to Turner Field in Atlanta. 2-0 Cubs as we open the bottom half of the second inning. A swing and a miss by Javier Lopez, who broke the all-time single-season record this year for home runs by a catcher. 42 of his 43 hit as a catcher. He had one pinch-hit home run, breaking the old mark held by one-time Cub, who did it as a Met, Todd Hundley. Got the record breaker the final weekend. During the final weekend in the history of Veterans Stadium, your old stomping ground, Timmy.
What a memorable Sunday it was a week ago. In closing Veterans Stadium, Steve Carlton simulated his last pitch there as Mike Schmidt simulated and then ran around the bases. And then the phone call for Tug McGraw from the bullpen. What an emotional moment for 60,000 Philly fans.
On the ground is short. Gonzalez will throw out Javier Lopez.
And the Atlanta Braves led the major leagues in comeback wins this year. They came from behind 51 times. However, you don't do it against the likes of Kerry Wood every day. I mean, consider the fact that the starting lineup tonight, including last Tuesday's game, batting 165 against Kerry Wood.
13 hits in 79 at-bats. Strike one to Andrew Jones. 277 batted during the regular season, 36 home runs, 116 runs batted in, only 1 of 13 in this division series. Slow roller again to short. And quickly, 2 are gone in the Atlanta second inning. Wood throwing strike after strike after strike to begin this ball game here tonight. Julio Franco got his first start of this series yesterday at Wrigley Field. Was on base 4 times, 3 singles, walked, scored a run. And he is playing in place of Robert Fick, who was involved in that controversial play Reaching up, it appeared intentionally, to try and knock the ball out of the glove of first baseman Eric Karros. And Bobby Cox fined Robert Fick after the game last night for this.
Fined him a rather heavy fine. Bobby Cox did not like it as much as Cub fans didn't like it. Absolutely no call for stuff like that. Taking a guy out at second base, barreling over a catcher when he's blocking home plate, all of those things are legitimate. What Robert Fick did yesterday afternoon at Wrigley Field was not legitimate. No excuses.
Well, now all of a sudden, after throwing nothing but strikes for the first 6 hitters in the batting order, Kerry Wood has fallen behind 3-0 to Julio Franco. And there's ball 4, the first walk tonight issued by Kerry Wood. Robert Fick, by the way, is still hitless in this series. He started the first 3 games at first base, and after his pinch hit appearance yesterday is 0 for 11.
Kerry Wood, first in strikeouts in the National League. Teammate Mark Pryor with 18 wins. He was second in strikeouts.
Breaking ball high to Vinny Castilla.
Kerry Wood, 26. Mark Pryor, 23. The third youngest tandem to go 1 and 2. As far as strikeouts are concerned, the last to do it, Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax back in 1960.
1-1 to Castilla.
What do? To honor your teammates, you wear his glove.
Was Pryor something else in game 3? Oh, man. Oh. Complete game for Mark Pryor. He would be in line should the Cubs advance on to the next round. To pitch game 2. Fastball up and in.
I guess he uses Kerry Wood's glove when he pitches.
Whatever these two guys want to do is okay by Dusty Baker.
You mentioned the Florida Marlins, the last half inning. The Marlins obviously watching this game in unison, we think, from southern Florida, and they will take a late flight either to Atlanta or Chicago when they find out who wins the game.
Check swing on a breaking ball in the dirt, and Castillo went around. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
A tightly wrapped breaking ball evens the count to Castillo. What a year the Florida Marlins have had.
From the middle of May through the end of the season, they had the best record of any team in Major League Baseball. Congratulations to Jack McKeon and that entire franchise. Swing and a miss on a slider. 3 strikeouts in the first 2 innings for Kerry Wood. Sammy coming up in the 3rd. The Cubs lead game 5, 2-0.
My God, look at her. I would be delighted if you'd have dinner.
The best divorce lawyer in town.
You propose your unoffending wife should be tossed out on her ear.
Yeah. Is going up against
you,
the woman he can't resist.
You're just looking for trouble.
This Friday.
Just stay strong.
I don't know what to do.
Take a cold shower. Critics are saying George Clooney and Catherine Zeta-Jones dazzle us with their white-hot chemistry.
I'm a sitting duck.
Sitting duck.
Intolerable cruelty. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday.
I break for yard sales.
I break for animals.
I break for donuts.
Chocolate. My grandkids.
Boys.
I break for little old ladies.
Bingo.
Leprechauns.
UFOs. I break for free oil changes. Visit your local Midas mechanic now and get a free oil change with any Midas brake job, including installation of our lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes. That's free oil and filter with any new brakes.
I break for no apparent reason.
Cash or credit? Oh, hey, Yahoo. Oh, making me dizzy. Oh, baby.
Bank One. British Airways?
Bank One.
Top of the morning to you. I'm not really British. I sound like it, don't I? Borders. Let me guess. Bank One. Bank One. Bank One. Hey, Helen, another Bank One.
Hundreds of leading names, one you.
This is so you.
Find the card that fits you best.
Cute dog. Oh, you two have the same eyes.
Individual answers. Bank One.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's a new dance floor. A nap with your best friend. It's everything under the sun for everything under your feet. All at the guaranteed low price. And now through November 5th, save 20% on select special order flooring, including wood, laminate, ceramic tile, and vinyl. Whether you do it yourself or have it installed, nobody covers more floors more stylishly than we do. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Two families at war.
My business is 100% legal. Let's take him down.
Two lovers caught in the crossfire.
His father is the district attorney. He wants to destroy our family.
In a battle like this,
You cannot see this girl again ever.
everything gets exposed. Skin premieres Monday, October 20th on Fox.
Told you Mike Hampton for the 6th time in his major league career tonight. The first time, by the way, in the postseason, is coming back on 3 days rest. Bobby Cox did the same thing with Russ Ortiz yesterday. Since 1991, Bobby Cox has brought a starting pitcher back in 19 games on 3 days rest. 6-9 the record for the starters with an ERA of 4.5. The team record is 7-12. Hampton has fallen behind 2-0 after the first two here tonight in Game 5 of this National League Division Series. It'll be Grzelcyk, Sosa, and Alou. Mark struck out his first time up. 1-1.
Even though Mike Hampton has given up a couple of runs, he's the type of pitcher that you want to bring back with 3 days rest, because he's not an overpowering pitcher. He's a pitcher that gets a lot of ground balls. A guy like Kerry Wood, it'd be difficult to bring him back with 3 days rest, or Mark Pryor, Randy Johnson, or Curt Schilling, even though in the World Series in 2001, what happened? Bob Brenly brought them back on 3 days rest, and Curt Schilling won 3 and Randy Johnson won when they beat the Yankees in the World Series. Good slider from Hampton.
And that still to this day statistically is the best pitch World Series by any team in World Series history.
Remarkable performances by those two pitchers.
1-2 to Grzelcyk. Of course, many remember in Game 6, Randy Johnson started that game, got the win, and then came back out of the bullpen in Game 7 and got the win, pitching in the 9th. And Arizona rallied to beat Mariano Rivera in the bottom of the 9th.
How many times do you see a starting pitcher get 2 wins in 2 days?
Broken bat flare will fall. A base hit into left center field by Grzelcyk. And here comes Sammy Sosa, who's had his fair share of success against Mike Hampton. Turn back the clock. Wrigley Field, July the 11th. Sosa got Hampton not once, but twice. Fast forward to Game 1 of his National League Division Series in the opening inning. And with 2 aboard, Sosa this close to playing long ball to right center. Broken bat, foul ball out of play.
Oh, we know, folks. We know. Come on.
Everybody wants to check the infield.
Oh, come on. Classic.
Of course, for those of you that are not picking up this baseball season until the postseason, Sammy Sosa ejected from the Cubs' June 3rd game against Tampa Bay by Tim McClellan after his shattered bat contained cork. Sosa was suspended. and has come back to finish strong and have another outstanding year.
It was almost as though 30,000 people here or so were waiting for that moment. And they got it.
And can you blame them?
No.
What the heck?
It's fun. I mean,
absolutely.
It's fun now, and you laugh about it now, but obviously a serious incident at the time. Sammy came back saying that he thought it was a batting practice bat. That's a story I still do not believe. Plain and simple. Did it hurt his popularity? Obviously not. And I don't know what that says, but obviously not. That was hilarious, though. Breaks a bat. 30,000 oohs and ahs.
Jumping to their feet. Check that bat. Sammy should have flexed his arm and just pointed at the bicep. 1-2 the count. Down and in, 2-2 to Sosa. Leadoff man aboard here in the Cub third inning. And the Cubs leading this game 5-2-0. RBI single by Alou in the opening inning. Solo home run by Gonzalez in the second, and Kerry Wood has allowed just one base hit. Now tipped into the mid of Lopez for strike 3.
Tightly wrapped slider to get Sosa. Most strikeouts on which a hitter swings and misses are about balls out of the strike zone. Certainly over half. More of a percentage for some guys like Sosa, who's a bad ball swinger. I know it sounds simple, but the reason for that is major league hitters are trained to hit the ball in the strike zone and not out of the strike zone. Certainly they're bad ball hitters, but most swinging strikeouts are on balls out of the strike zone.
1-on-1 out for Moises Alou. He knocked in the game's first run with a single into left field. That one sails away from Alou, who watched his father's team, Felipe Alou, get eliminated by the team that Moises hopes they'll be playing. And of course, he wore a Florida Marlins uniform the last time they were in the postseason in 1997. Very disappointing finish for the defending National League champion San Francisco Giants. But for those that have not seen much of the Florida Marlins, get ready for the ride starting Tuesday night here on Fox.
So surprising for me concerning the Giants as Alou whiffs at a high changeup. Had I seeded the 8 teams in the postseason before it began last Tuesday, I would have picked the Giants as a #1 seed.
Really?
Jason Schmidt, they lose game 2 after a 4-1 lead. Sidney Ponson losing that lead, and the Giants lost the ball game, and then the Marlins came back and won 2 in a row on their home turf. And here they are in a perfect position of traveling tonight to either Chicago or Atlanta.
Of course, Alou during that 1997 World Series with the Marlins hit 3 home runs. Rezolonic during the regular season only attempted 8 stolen bases. He was successful 6 of the 8.
Fastball away.
Rolled over foul.
And he didn't get that one away either. When a pitcher misses that much, it's alarming. You can see how Javi Lopez is sitting outside, and the pitch comes right over the fat part of the plate. If you miss on a pitch like that, particularly when you're ahead, you want to miss away, not toward the middle of the plate for obvious reasons.
1-2 to Alou. Down and in to even the count. Alou 3 of 4 in Game 4 yesterday. And he has gone swinging his second at bat tonight. 5 strikeouts now for Hampton.
When you think about it, almost all 5 strikeouts from Hampton, not only right-handed batters, but almost all of them have been below the knees, off the plate inside. I don't think any have been strikes.
Take a look at our RadioShack.com trivia question. Who are the only 3 players in Division Series history with 2 career multi-home run games? Give you a little while to think about that. If you've been watching this series, you know 2 of the 3 without even working up a sweat. Perhaps our director, Bill Webb, giving you a little hint. Boy, he's subtle, isn't he?
He is indeed.
1-1 on Aramis Ramirez. He bounced into a fielder's choice in the opening inning. Resalanik at first with 2 away, and a 1-1 on the way. Grounded right at Castillo. He'll go the short way, and that'll end the inning. A leadoff single. Resalanik never moves. Atlanta bats in a third, down a pair.
Unsurpassed engineering, unparalleled technology, champion, Mach 3 Turbo Champion, the world's best shave, guaranteed. Now with a red-hot new look. Test drive one today. Mach 3 Turbo Champion from Gillette.
Spicy garlic shrimp, fire grilled chicken, and our famous baby back ribs. Chili's Fajita Trio. Want more flavor?
Yeah.
Coming October 13th on GoArmy.com.
Everyone knows about the fields of Battle Creek, but we've got orchards too, you know. We call them the orchards of Battle Creek. Where else would we grow our apple cinnamon cereal with 2.5 apples worth of real apples in every box? Where else would you find cereal that tastes so apple-y? Only in a place where apple is considered a real word. Kellogg's Fruit Harvest, now available in apple cinnamon.
Tell me about your dream.
It's like a movie. There's a sword and a stone.
Behold Excalibur.
A magic cost-cutting sword.
A magic cost-cutting sword.
But it's stuck. We can't get it out. What does it mean?
Perhaps there are no more costs to cut. Perhaps you should be
King Arthur?
more productive.
Sorry.
Someone's threatening to initiate an outbreak of a very deadly virus.
To stop a weapon that has no cure.
They found a body that's been infected.
You need a man who knows no limits.
Just do it now!
The season premiere of 24, Tuesday, October 28th on Fox. Presented without commercial interruption by the next Ford F-150.
Kerry Wood set to begin the bottom half of the third inning, facing Mike Hampton. And it's a strike on the outside corner. Hampton 1 of 2 in game 2 at the plate. Very good hitter, a couple of home runs like Kerry Wood did this season. Been well documented, story well told that Hampton a fabulous athlete. There you get a look at President Jimmy Carter, wife Rosalind.
Up from Plains.
Absolutely. And he's no, Johnny come lately. He is a big baseball fan, big Atlanta Braves fan.
Yeah.
Breaking ball, strike 3 called. 4 strikeouts against the first 9 batters that Wood has faced in the game tonight. Play Hit the Pros, presented by Chevy Silverado. And face real pitches from today's best hurlers. Log on to foxsports.com. Keyword games. Chevy Silverado. It's the right truck. A good look at Kerry Wood, and good luck trying to hit Kerry Wood and Hit the Pros.
See what Furcal does here after swinging at the first pitch, his first time up. I would think he's taking.
You're right on the money.
Preston Carter, talking of Preston Carter, usually when he comes to a ball game here, he brings his own peanuts. Obviously, a peanut farmer, the Carter family, for years in Plains, Georgia. About, I suppose, what, 140 miles southwest of here.
Still looks great, both of them.
Certainly do.
And he is still very, very sharp. Bouncing ball to Ramirez. He cut it loose, and it's in time to get the Speedy for a call. 2 up, 2 down in the Atlanta third inning. Only 1 hit so far for the Braves against Kerry Wood.
Ramirez realizing he has to get rid of this ball quickly. No way to get Furcal unless you do that. Nice play by Ramirez.
Now Marcus Giles with 2 down and nobody on. Slider down and away for ball 1 to Giles.
In the Braves media guide, it says that Marcus Giles is 5'8". I don't think so. More like 5'6" or 7. Has a size 12 foot. That's a big foot for a small guy.
He plays more like he's 6'7" or 6'8".
Now that's what happens when you're a little brother. Big shoes to fill, right? With
That's
Brian.
right.
Brian now with San Diego, moved as Pittsburgh got rid of a bunch of players, along with Cincinnati this year.
There are a lot of players around baseball. If you watch them play every day throughout the course of an entire season, you may not like them as much at the end of the year as you thought you would going into the season. There are guys that go the other way, and Giles is one of those players. The more you see him, the more you like him.
Yeah, that's well said. What he lacks in stature, he makes up for tenfold in courage, power. Not the fastest of runners. Learning all the time around second base.
In the air, left center field. Playable for Moises Alou, and it's a 1-2-3 third inning for Kerry Wood. We go to the 4th in Game 5 of this division series, and the Cubs with a 2-0 lead.
Do you have the right truck?
Hi, black coffee to go.
Does your truck have better resale value than Ford and Dodge? A Silverado half-ton pickup does.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, is this your truck? What's it going for?
What do you mean, what's it going for?
Let me make you an offer.
It's not for sale.
What do you mean here? It's for sale.
It's not for sale.
Silverado, it's the right truck from Chevy.
Your boss expects a report in 1 hour, but it's a gorgeous 74 degrees outside. So, you handle it like a true professional. With a laptop powered by Centrino, Intel's mobile technology, you can work wirelessly in thousands of places, even Bryant Park, under your favorite tree. Intel Centrino mobile technology.
Introducing Wendy's home-style chicken strips.
Heaven, I'm in heaven.
3 delicious pieces of breast filet with your choice of Heartland Ranch, Deli Honey Mustard, and spicy Southwest Chipotle. When it comes to chicken strips, Wendy's has a better way. Our new home-style chicken strips. It's better here.
I know what I'm having for lunch.
And remember, you can eat great even late.
Let's say this is your car. Nice hardtop. If you drive safely, meaning you do stuff like obey the speed limit, always check your blind spot, and avoid accidents, hey, watch it, lead foot, then Allstate could reward you with something you'll eat right up. Some green. Up to 20% off your insurance bill. It's the Allstate Safe Driver Discount. Call today and find out how you're in good hands with Allstate. Hey, this is for the safe driver. Here you go.
The Division Series on Fox, brought to you by Imitrex. Ask your doctor if Imitrex is right for you. By Intel Centrino Mobile Technology. By Chevy Silverado, it's the right truck. And by Wendy's new home-style chicken strips, another reason it's better here. Tom Brenneman, Tim McCarver, our entire Fox crew at Turner Field in Atlanta for this decisive Game 5 of this National League Division Series. And the Cubs in front at the end of 3-2-0. First pitch swinging, Eric Karros. A one-hopper at Vinny Castillo, one away. Hampton allowed 2 earned runs or less in 18 of his 31 starts on the year, including 9 of his last 11. He was pitching his best baseball in 3 years, the final 2 months of this season.
Well, that happens to a lot of pitchers, unfortunately, who signed with Colorado. Happened to Darryl Kyle, God rest his soul. And it certainly happened to Mike Hampton. There are a lot of pitchers that signed with the Colorado Rockies because of the rarefied air, and certainly John Schuerholz knows that, the general manager. The Cardinals signed Darryl Kyle, disregarding his numbers in Colorado, and the Braves did the same thing with Hampton. Earned run averages for pitchers in Colorado are understandably stratospheric.
2-1 on Gonzalez, who homered his first time up. That one grounded foul of the third base line. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Only the second hit in 9 at-bats in this series for Alex Gonzalez. But he hit that pitch a ton back in the second inning.
He surely did, Tommy. I was going to say about Hampton, it's kind of nice to see him come back and reestablish himself, at least to a degree, of what he was before he went through that time in Colorado, because this is a real gutty guy. I mean, a guy you really want on your ball club. One of the best pitching coaches ever in Leo Mazzoni. Working with Mike, trying to get him to forget that experience in Colorado. Terrific field and everything. Great fans, but tough to pitch there.
Gone swinging Gonzalez. Let's send it back to Los Angeles for a game break. Here's Jeannie Zelasco.
And from the hardball to the pigskin, the battle of the undefeateds in Kansas City. Chiefs and Broncos. Dante Hall stole the show and the record. Hall with an NFL record 4 consecutive games with a return in his last 10 games. He's returned 7 for touchdowns. And oh yeah, the Chiefs edge the Broncos. We return tomorrow night, Game 5 on Fox.
Game 5 between Boston and Oakland. From Oakland, California, what a pitching matchup in that one tomorrow night. It'll be Pedro Martinez for Boston against Barry Zito of the Athletics.
Oh, man.
There you get a look at the numbers. Pedro in Game 1, a game he should have come away with a win had not the bullpen lost that game in that Game 1 marathon in Oakland, and Zito lights out in Game 2. Come back into the mound, and Hampton getting stronger after allowing single runs in the first and the second. Only 1 hit over the last 2, and the heart of the order coming up for Atlanta, down 2.
Now this is big.
Now's the best time to buy wireless phones and accessories during the big sale at Radio Shack.
It's so big, it's
It's the LG VX6000 camera phone. Take, send, and personalize pictures. Just $149.99 after a $50 Radio Shack mail-in rebate.
It doesn't get any bigger than this.
The big, big sale. Now at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
I got a question for the folks at Radio Shack. Who's in charge of spelling around here?
Mom, can some of the guys come over for pizza? Sure. She said yes, come on!
Whoa, got some big NFL appetites heading your way. Looks like you need the NFL deal from Pizza Hut and Pepsi. Order any large specialty pizza at regular price and you get a medium one-topping pizza and a 2-liter of Pepsi for just $1.99 more. The NFL deal, a Pizza Hut pizza and a Pepsi for just $1.99 more.
May I have another slice, please?
Oh, Michael, I don't know where you put it. You can please your crowd every day when you gather around the good stuff.
I really wanted a new TV. You know, one of those big ones. So I turned to my Rent-A-Center again. I love their flexible payment options. That way, I get to pay them when I get paid. And I'll be owning this Philips widescreen in no time. My friends, my stuff, my Rent-A-Center.
Mention this ad and get 1 week free at Rent-A-Center. Call 1-800-205-2005 to connect with the store near you and ask for 1 week free.
That cold's getting worse, Dad.
My nose is running, head's all blocked up. I need my Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Mom?
I'll get your Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Only Alka-Seltzer Plus has an effervescent cold-fighting formula to break up nasal congestion and release you from your worst cold symptoms fast.
Feel better?
I do. That's my line. Alka-Seltzer Plus breaks up your worst cold symptoms fast.
Buy it now on DVD. A terrifying force has arrived on Earth. It has the power to assume any human form.
You're not Jonesy.
And destroy all human life. Dreamcatcher. Buy it now on DVD and video.
Monday, October 20th, Fox will introduce a real American cowboy to a group of European women.
Oh, he's good looking.
Tell them he's worth $80 million in oil.
I'm sure I'm gonna like this lifestyle.
And invite them to win his heart.
He's rich. He's filthy rich.
Does anyone know how to say sucker in French? The next Joe Millionaire. Diplomats are standing by. Premieres Monday, October 20th on Fox.
Atlanta comes to bat bottom half of the 4th inning, trailing the Cubs in Game 5 of this National League Division Series 2-0. Sheffield with the only hit against Kerry Wood through the front 3. That was a 2-strike pitch that he hammered into center field. Ball 1 low and in. One ball, 1 strike to Sheffield.
Mark Gredzelanek at second base is almost shifted to the left side of second base. It's a quasi shift, but Sheffield with
popped up left side.
So Sheffield can shoot the ball through the other side with consistency.
Time to answer our Radio Shack trivia question. Who are the only 3 players in Division Series history with 2 career multi-home run games? And we told you 2 of them took place in the game yesterday. Chipper Jones for Atlanta. Eric Karros did it for the Cubs last night with the Dodgers in '95, and Bernie Williams in '95 and '96.
I thought Chipper had a wry comment in the Atlanta Constitution today. He said, I'm just Sheffield's expensive bodyguard.
Right. That's a highly paid bodyguard.
Yeah, that's a highly paid bodyguard.
Good work if you can get it.
Price of bodyguards have gone up.
Way up. Like the gross national product of both third world countries. 1-1 to Chipper Jones. Swing and a miss. Good old country Texas hardball right there from Kerry Wood.
Not too many guys are going to get around on a fastball 98 miles an hour around the letters, and Jones didn't.
2-2.
Kerry Wood really only throws 2 pitches, a fastball and a slider. But his sliders, depending on arm angle, does a lot of things. It goes down like that. It goes toward a left-handed batter, sliding in like normal sliders do. But even though he calls this a slider, this is more of a curveball. So even though it's 1 pitch, it serves as several.
They all pitch to Chipper. Tardy on a fastball. Timmy, I would imagine that when this guy is cutting it loose out there on the mound and you're the hitter in the box, it must be right on you right now. It is rare you'll see Chipper Jones in a fastball count be tardy on a fastball.
That's true.
And there's a slider on a 3-2 pitch. And it's a 5th strikeout of the game for Kerry Wood.
I'll say that last pitch is what makes Chipper Jones tardy on a fastball, because you can't look for the fastball all the time. Because even though this is a fastball situation, he gets the breaking ball, but he's on top of it a little bit more, causing that downward action.
Two down, and Javier Lopez digs in. He bounced out to short his first time up. First pitch swinging, and he too is tardy on a Kerry Wood fastball. 0-1 to Lopez. Down the left field line, it'll go to the wall. Lopez making a turn, and here comes a throw to second. Not going to be in time. A 2-out double. Second hit tonight for Atlanta against Kerry Wood.
There's an Atlanta Brave that gets around on a Kerry Wood fastball. The ball may have been in off the plate, right on the hands. That's a good piece of hitting by Javi Lopez. First extra base hit of the ball game for the Braves.
Tying run comes to the plate. Andrew Jones hit 36 home runs during the regular season, 1 of 14 in this division series. Fastball upstairs. Lopez in scoring position with 2 away. Fastball swung on and missed. Oh.
Man. That is a big challenge to try to make Wood get the fastball down in the strike zone. You can't hit it up there.
Jones waits, 1-1 on the way, and a fastball again up high, and Andrews stays away from it. Julio Franco in the on-deck circle. First time in a game tonight that Atlanta's put a runner in scoring position against Kerry Wood. He's allowed 2 hits, walked 1, fanned 5. Breaking ball down and away, 3-1. You know, Timmy, you look at the season numbers in the career of a guy like Jones, and you would think, well, there's nothing wrong with walking him and then moving on to Franco. But certain Julio has fewer holes in his swing, if you will, than Jones.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't think this is anywhere near a pitch-around situation.
He came right after it. 3-1 fastball and said try to hit it if you can, and Jones late.
Well, if you throw the 3-1 fastball for a strike and you get the foul ball or you get a strike, now it's time to come back with a breaking ball.
Runners this season in scoring position. And Kerry Wood limited the opposing hitters to a 157 batting average. And he just blew away Andrew Jones on a high heat. Wow. 6 strikeouts for Kerry Wood. We're back after a break from your local Fox station. It's 2-0 Chicago.
Tonight, the do-or-die game for the Cubs. Corey McFerrin and Mark Sapulso report live in Atlanta with post-game interviews and highlights. And, of course, we'll have a reaction from Wrigleyville. Also, a nail-biter at Soldier Field today. The Bears scored their first win.
From Bramisoli to Barrington, there's a new collection at Walter E. Smith, and it's called At Home in Tuscany, born from the book Under the Tuscan Sun.
Walter E. Smith, you dream it, we build it.
And like the book, the furniture is delicious.
ATA proudly introduces More. ATA has added more flights to a dozen cities, plus new service to Ixtapa, Mexico, and now 14 nonstops to the New York area every business day.
But I have this feeling.
Really?
I love sports. You love sports.
I do.
You love basketball, hockey, baseball, football, golf.
No, I don't.
But you have Comcast digital cable. You have access to more sports than I could only dream of.
Oh, well, I just got it for all the movie channels. I never, ever watch sports. It's on sale now, so you can get it, too.
I'll call you.
Comcast digital cable. Just $44.99 per month for 12 months.
What do people see in the new Chrysler Pacifica?
I see a woman who knows how to relax.
I see a man who knows where he's going in the world.
I see a painter, a parent, an individual.
I see a mom and a dad who are completely behind their kids.
Introducing the Chrysler Pacifica, well beyond the SUV.
Walter E. Smith, you dream it, we build Walter E. Smith, custom furniture. Walter E. Smith. Okay, it was good until you did the.
Walter E. Smith.
I thought they kind of the back and forth worked.
Cubs bat against Mike Hampton, top half of the 5th inning. First pitch swing, Kerry Wood, a roller after a call. One away. We invite you to join us tomorrow as baseball's postseason continues on Fox. Another Game 5. The Oakland Athletics jumped out over Boston 2-0. The Red Sox winning a pair of games at Fenway Park. So tomorrow night we're in Oakland. Pedro Martinez and Barry Zito will lock up. The road to the World Series continues. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox.
I was just thinking, Tommy, that Kerry Wood was just thrown out by a guy with the second best arm on the field, Rafael Furcal.
Kerry knows who's number 1 on that list. Furcal going to get another chance to show off that arm. Of course, the one guy I always think of, Timmy, in more recent memory, Sean Dunston, a long-time Chicago Cubs shortstop.
Yes, Sean Dunston stands out as a shortstop with perhaps a better arm than Furcal.
Yes. Sean could turn it loose.
I mean, that's saying something.
Yeah.
You can say that. I mean, that young man right there has a cannon.
A lot of times that statistic errors can be quite misleading. Furcal had over 30 during the year, but you wouldn't find a manager in all of baseball that wouldn't take him right now. And I mean take him for his glove, not only his bat.
And his legs. Pretty good package right there.
1-1 on Bresolanic. Hampton in the air to get it. 9 consecutive batters retired by Mike Hampton. But his offense has been shut down through the front 4 by Kerry Wood. Atlanta looks to change that as we go to the last of the 5th.
I was working in the garage and I smelled smoke. I quickly determined it was a grease fire. I knew grease fires were different from other type blazes, but I wasn't sure the best way how to handle such a conflagration. So I asked myself, what would Jared do?
I'd get a veggie delight on wheat, or maybe with the honey oat bread. Sorry, what was your question again?
The Veggie Delight from Subway. Eat fresh.
Come on in, Derek. Derek, I thought we had this thing worked out. I hear you're out dancing, eating, and just carousing with your friends. Is it true you're going out every night?
Absolutely not.
Good.
If you want to enjoy the New York nightlife, bring your Visa card, because Orso, Cheetah, and the Broome Street Bar don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Hey, Derek, we are running late. Sorry.
You live a lot of your life between 0 and 55. No one understands that like your State Farm agent. That's why more people insure their cars with us than anyone else. Because we think car insurance should be as much about you as it is about your car.
The newly redesigned 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix. 260 horsepower to help you get the most out of your ride. And OnStar stolen vehicle tracking to help you get your ride back. Fuel for the soul.
Summer's biggest sensation, The OC, returns Wednesday, October 29th.
Atlanta bats last of the 5th inning, trailing Kerry Wood and the Cubs 2-0. Franco Castilla and then Mike Hampton due up for the Braves. A 2-out single by Sheffield in the first, a 2-out double by Lopez in the 4th, and that's been it for the Atlanta Braves tonight, outside of a 2-out walk. So Franco back in the 2nd inning.
Watching the game yesterday, I thought you and Steve Lyons did a very good job with Julio Franco, how he points the bat toward the pitcher and almost has to hit the ball to right field, particularly against a hard thrower like Kerry Wood.
Shoots that ball into right center field, and Lofton will go get it. Hard hit ball by Franco, but allowed out.
That's the only ball that he will come close to pulling, is a breaking ball that's down. But you can see how far he has to go with that bat. And when he makes contact, it's not out in front, and rarely is. It's over the plate and not out in front of the plate. Yesterday he had 3 hits, 2 to right field. The only one he hit down the left field line was on a ball down and in, an off-speed pitch. The speed of the pitch often will allow the bat head to come through the strike zone.
Up and in, ball 1 to Vinny Castillo, struck out swinging, ending the 2nd inning. Kerry Wood's wife, Sarah. The two were engaged on Valentine's Day 2002 and then married in Hawaii in November of that same year. And Kerry gives her all the credit for improving dramatically his conditioning program. She watches over him like a hawk. You may remember when he came up in '98, there was a lot of baby fat on that body of Kerry Wood. Very little of that now. Those pictures of her during game 1. Unbridled joy.
Classic.
She was like a little girl that night as Kerry Wood was pitching so well, and then when he had that 2-run double, it really was nice. She looks a little more calm, although now beginning to gnaw on those nails a bit. 2-2 on Vinny Castilla.
Well, in only his 5th major league start, Kerry Wood and that baby fat struck out 20 Houston Astros. Only the 2nd guy in major league history to strike out that many in one game. Roger Clemens has done it twice. Kerry Woods once. Good.
Lined into left field and caught. So a couple of hard hit balls in this inning by Franco and Castilla. So for the first time, really back-to-back hitters have squared up on a Kerry Wood pitch.
I would like to correct myself. Randy Johnson also struck out 20 in a game.
Well, there was, of course, debate about that because that did not end the game, the 9 innings. That game went on to be played in extra innings, and the powers that be of Major League Baseball had to decide whether or not that would fit into the same category of Wood and Clemens. That was that 2001 season when Randy Johnson struck out 20 Cincinnati Reds.
When you think about it, it shouldn't go against the pitcher because he has struck out 20 through his 9 innings. Has nothing to do with what the offense has done.
0-2 to Hampton, who struck out in the 3rd inning. Wood trying to set down the side in order for the 2nd time tonight, and does. 5 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball for Kerry Wood. His wife stands and applauds. 2-0 Chicago.
Life got simple the day I plugged into the big brown machine. West Coast overnight, done. China, 48 hours, done. Brown picks it all up together and delivers it all on time. And with their global tracking system, I get the proof. It isn't that I'm not a trusting person. Yes, it is.
International Overnight Ground. Synchronized. UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Now this is big.
Now's the best time to buy wireless phones and accessories during the big sale at Radio Shack.
It's so big. It's
the LG VX6000 camera phone. Take, send, and personalize pictures. Just $149.99 after a $50 Radio Shack mail-in rebate.
It doesn't get any bigger than this.
The big sale. Now at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
I got a question for the folks at Radio Shack. Who's in charge of spelling around here?
Young, you'll find yourself. You'd go outside and play in the mud. Follow your heart. Guess some things never change. Head for the mountains of Bush.
Well, that's the last of it.
The original rugged Nissan Pathfinder, and coming soon, the new full-size Pathfinder Armada. Two Pathfinders, countless adventures.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by UPS. What can Brown do for you? Game 5 of this National League Division Series. The winner will advance on to the National League Championship Series, which will begin on Tuesday night, either here at Turner Field in Atlanta or at Wrigley Field in Chicago. And the Florida Marlins will provide the opposition. Ball 1 to Sammy Sosa. Sosa 3 of 14 in the series, 0 for 1 tonight. Has walked and struck out. I'll tell you, Mike Hampton putting together a pretty solid game after allowing a run in the opening inning and then a solo home run to Gonzalez in the 2nd. He's retired 9 in a row and 12 of the last 13 since the Gonzalez home run.
It's a similar game that Hampton pitched in game 2 of this series. He gave up 2 runs in the first inning, then shut the Cubs down. Tonight he's given up 2 runs in the first 2 innings and shut the Cubs down.
Alou to follow, and then Aramis Ramirez.
Slider. A cut fastball. You notice that Hampton had one of the only balls he's elevated tonight is the home run hit by Gonzalez. Everything else has been mid-thigh high and down. There's a fastball away right here.
Sammy fouls it away, full count.
Yeah, the deception with Hampton is his movement of the ball outside and inside to right-handers. But from a playing standpoint, he has elevated few balls tonight. See where Hobby goes here. Slider.
And again, it dives out of the strike zone, and Sosa comes up empty.
Almost every strikeout for Hampton tonight has been in that area. Sosa going down on a ball out of the strike zone. Let's take a look at the 7 strikeouts of Hampton out of the strike zone. Etc. 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 See? Out of the strike. Etc. I'm running out of etc.
You're not lying.
Last one, Sammy Sosa. Your Brenner would be proud.
Indeed. Oh, 0-1 on Moises Alou. And now Hampton ahead 0-2. 10 in a row set down by Hampton. He allowed a leadoff double to the very first batter of the game, Kenny Lofton. Allowed a run-scoring single to Alou.
I think it came up and hit Moises on the right forearm, perhaps, or the right wrist.
Over the mound, and Giles will turn it loose, but not going to be in time. That ball just died after it got over Hampton's head, and Alou with his second hit.
You will see a lot of pitchers try to jump for a ball like that. Hampton started and then said, the only thing I can do is mess this up. If Furcal or Giles can't make the play, it won't be made. They didn't.
Take a look at our in-game box score for the Cubs, brought to you by Midas. Lofton, that double to lead off the ball game, scored on a single by Alou, who has 2 hits, and Gonzalez, a solo home run to straightaway center field, leading off the second inning. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Cubs. They've left 3 men on base. No runs, 2 hits for Atlanta. And the Braves have stranded 3 against Kerry Wood. Ball 1 away to Aramis Ramirez.
You don't see a pitcher often restrain himself from jumping like Hampton did. He wanted to, but said, nope. And an infield hit for Alou.
In the air, deep left center field. Jones will watch it go. 4-0 Chicago. There are thousands of Cub fans at Turner Field tonight. They've waited 95 years for a celebration. Hampton only allowed 14 home runs in 190 innings during the regular season. He has allowed 2 in 5 1/3 tonight.
Ramirez extending his arms. Again, we talked about it a couple of innings ago. When a catcher is sitting outside and he has to move to his left, that spells trouble, particularly with a guy as strong as Ramirez.
Through the years, we've talked a great deal about John Sherholtz, the general manager, and the job he's done here in Atlanta. Jim Hendry cannot be overlooked what he has done in Chicago. The offseason deal which brought Karros and Bresolanic from the Dodgers and that Todd Hundley, really an exchange of big salary players in the final years of contracts. On the ground at third, and Castillo throws out Karros. And then, of course, during this season, pulling the trigger after Corey Patterson went down to bring in a leadoff hitter and a center fielder in Lofton. In the same deal, they got Ramirez. And then later went knocking on the Pirate door again and found another Pirate treasure in Randall Simon.
And also overseeing the development, too, of young pitchers like Pryor and Wood and Zambrano. You mentioned Corey Patterson. What a player he's going to be. Out for half the season with a meniscus injury. That's as you said, the reason they had to go out and get Kenny Lofton.
Roboski, the right-hander, Ray King, the southpaw, getting loose in the Atlanta bullpen. 4-0 Braves here in the 6th inning. And the Cub fans that are here tonight starting to smell it. There's a long way to go. But as we mentioned, they've waited a long time. Fly ball, short left field. Jones broke back. Recovers in time to get it. And that'll end the inning. A one-out infield hit by Alou. Forced Hampton into the stretch. And then Ramirez touches them all.
I break for yard sales.
I break for animals.
I break for donuts.
Chocolate. My grandkids.
Boys.
I break for little old ladies.
Bingo.
Leprechauns.
UFOs.
I break for free oil changes.
Visit your local Midas mechanic now and get a free oil change with any Midas brake job, including installation of our lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes. That's free oil and filter with any new brakes.
I break for no apparent reason.
The Matrix Reloaded on DVD. Here we go. Reload before the revolution begins. Buy The Matrix Reloaded on DVD. Then see The Matrix Revolutions in theaters.
Delicious, hot, and fresh. Orville Redenbacher's Gourmet Popping Corn is the perfect after-school snack for kids of any age. Anytime's a great time for Orville.
Burger King introduces the Santa Fe Fire Grilled Chicken Baguette. It gets its flavor from fire grilling, not from fat. And it's served on a fresh baked baguette that will rise beyond your expectations. Come on over. The fire's ready.
Honey, what are you doing?
I'm registering for the wedding.
Hey, send her a picture of that one. Nothing says I love you like chrome pipes.
Be there with the most whenever minutes and a T-Mobile camera phone.
T-Mobile.
Get more. Let's see, I bought yellow pencils, yellow Post-it notes, yellow boxers. Yellow boxers.
$14.
Land courier, air courier, pedicure, reader.
$137.
2 printers, 2 scanners, 2 tutus.
$540. Keeping business expenses separate from personal expenses? Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Apply online for the MasterCard Business Card.
Center field is definitely my home. And I'm always ready to hit that wall. Sometimes I hit the wall so hard, it rattles my brain. But I'd rather rob a home run than hit a home run any day of the week. Just to see the expression on their face, that's the best feeling ever. I live for this.
Watch the World Series on Fox beginning October 18th. Don't miss it.
Big inning for Atlanta, trailing 4-0, top of the order against Kerry Wood. And for a call, takes low and away, ball 1, 0 for 2 as Rafi's grounded to second, bounced to third. Got to wonder if the night is over for Mike Hampton. Activity continues in the Atlanta bullpen.
Burkall will take another one here with the count 2-0, and the Braves down by 4. But you saw him move up in the box like he'll do. He'll slap that ball over the drawn-in third baseman occasionally. Won't do it there. He'll take twice now. 3-0 and 3-1 if that happens.
Giles to follow, and then Gary Sheffield. Bobby Cox's Braves down 4-0 to Dusty Baker and the Giants. And there is a borderline strike. Maybe a little up in the zone, but 3-1 on for a call.
By taking 3-1 right now, the Braves need base runners, but you make Kerry Wood throw 2 strikes.
Which he does not do. Major League Baseball is giving away World Series tickets for life and other great prizes. Winning hologram numbers will be announced during games 1 through 4 of the World Series here on Fox. Visit your neighborhood Radio Shack store for your chance to win. That is indeed the ultimate task. And a free pass for Rafael for a call to open up the Atlanta 6th inning.
Burkall taking the approach at last at bat that we suggested Burkall take earlier in the ball game. This is what happens to Kerry Wood. You have to make him throw a lot of pitches. He has had 13 games this year in which he has thrown over 120 pitches. 13.
And now 2-0 on Marcus Giles. Damian Miller will come out, and Larry Rothschild, former manager in Tampa Bay, and boy, he is a solid pitching coach as well. We've talked about Leo Mazzoni.
Outstanding.
Larry's done an excellent job with predominantly a very young Chicago Cubs staff this year.
This is one of the problems with wildness when you have a 4-run lead, too. The situation appears to be worse than it is. That's what's caused by wildness. If a guy got a couple of hits, you're saying, well, he's throwing okay. At least he's putting the ball over the plate. Right. But now you walk a hitter and you throw 2 balls on the next one, and the situation appears to be worse than it is. And that's why Rothschild went out to say, hey, Kerry, you got a 4-run lead. Throw a strike here, and you reestablish everything.
Throws a strike on the outside corner, knee high. 2-1 to Marcus Giles. Giles has struck out and popped up to Lewin left. Fastball at 95, swung on and missed.
95 right on the outside corner. That's a tough combo right there.
Foul out of play. Kerry Wood has broken the Cubs postseason series strikeout mark with 18 of them so far in his 2 starts in this series. That mark formerly held by none other than Hippo Vaughn, who struck out 17 in the postseason in the 1918 World Series. Lined into left center field, a base hit, and here come the Braves with 2 on and nobody out. And the heart of the order coming up. An Atlanta offense that led the National League in batting average, home runs, and runs scored. And Sarah Wood knows all of those numbers.
I question this call, and the reason is there were 6 fastballs in a row. The more you tend to throw a hit, I mean, you can't forget the breaking ball with Kerry Wood. We mentioned he has 2 pitches. Even though you have a 4-run lead, you don't want to fall back into that pattern of throwing only fastballs. He threw 6 in a row to Giles, and the 6th one was a line drive on the end of it.
You think that's because he was trying to reestablish himself after the wildness?
He'd already done that with the 2 strikes. Now he throws the breaking ball.
And it's called a strike, and Sheffield doesn't like it.
You throw ball 1, ball 2, and now the pitching coach comes out, Larry Rothschild. Now you throw fastball, strike 1, fastball, strike 2. Now you're back in the groove. Now you go back to the normal stuff that got you to the 6th inning.
Check swing on another breaking ball. And it's 0-2 to Sheffield. Back-to-back breaking balls after the 6th straight fastball.
And Gary couldn't hold up. Missed that ball by about 1.5 feet.
Remember now, Sheffield on a 2-strike count, singled back in the 1st inning. And does so. Did he make the play in center? No, it's a base hit, and scoring from second base is for a call. They're saying the ball was trapped by Lofton. He will argue. And the runner at first base, Giles, stopped. And he said he was looking at the umpire who signaled catch was made in short right.
Sheffield, meanwhile, passed him. So either Sheffield or Giles are out. One of the 2, maybe both. They got the force play at second base, and I think Dusty Baker is saying that with the force play, Sheffield passed him. That's a double play. It's an odd double play, but it could be scored 8-6-3 because Sheffield passed Marcus Giles.
And Lofton livid because he believes he caught the ball.
But he's arguing about the wrong thing. Give him a run and take 2 outs. On second thought, did he catch the ball? First of all, yes. That call made by left field umpire Dale Scott. That could have been a triple play. Easily. That's a catch. There was leather between the ball and the ground. Burkall scores because the left field umpire said he didn't catch the ball. Giles, meanwhile, is looking at the right field umpire, but you can see right there, Sheffield is past him. To me, that's a double play. Sheffield's already passed him. So Giles is out on the force play. Sheffield is out for passing the runner. That's what I would argue if I were Dusty Baker. There's no way Sheffield can be on first base. I mean,
so this thing has been fouled up 2 different ways.
I think so. I mean, it could be a triple play. Lofton, number 1, catches the ball. And then if he throws to second to get Burkall, and Giles, the reason he was loitering around first base was the throw behind him. Otherwise, it is a triple play. But how can they allow Sheffield to have passed the runner? Because when you pass a runner, you're automatically out. And he certainly passed Giles. Unless the force play was made
before he passed him.
him. I guess that's what the umpires are saying. But Giles retreating, Sheffield going past him.
Right there, he's by him when the ball was caught at the second base bag for the force out.
So I think he was by him. I think he was by him enough to say that's a double play. It seems as though, now here's Sheffield right here, passing Giles. Sheffield is automatically out. Giles is out on the force play at second. Somebody's got to tell us why Sheffield wasn't called out on that play.
So the Braves get not only 1 break, perhaps a pair. to keep this inning alive. 1 run home. It's a 4-1 Chicago lead. Sheffield, the runner at first, and Chipper Jones, a batter who struck out looking and swinging.
We are seeing some of the most unusual base running I have seen. How about the Boston-Oakland game? 2 days in a row, Boston and Oakland had one debacle after another. Jason Varitek in the rundown play. Interference called on Eric Chavez.
Chipper did not go around 3-2.
And then Eric Burns trying to score on Jason Varitek. Varitek blocking him off. Burns going halfway back to the screen. Varitek tagging him. Unbelievable.
Well, Timmy, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you pass a runner when you hit a grand slam?
I've been waiting for you to say that. Yes, I know exactly how that feels. If they called me out 27 years ago, they've got to call Sheffield.
Slow roller left side. They get one. And they get two. So they get a double play. Kerry Wood still barking about that call in center. A wild bottom of the sixth. Atlanta gets a run. We're back after a break from your local Fox station.
Tonight, the do-or-die game for the Cubs. Corey McFerrin and Mark Sapulso report live in Atlanta with post-game interviews and highlights. And, of course, we'll have a reaction from Wrigleyville. Also, a nail-biter at Soldier Field today. The Bears scored their first win.
The Hyundai Sonata, a comparison. More standard features than a Toyota Camry LE, including a V6 engine. And yet the Sonata costs $2,100 less when comparably equipped. Add in America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles, and you win. Test drive the Hyundai Sonata starting at just $14,839 at your Hyundai dealer. Hurry into the Hyundai winning season clearance and get up to $2,000 cash back or 0% APR for up to 60 months.
Next time you think about going to Florida, think Southwest Airlines. Right now, fly nonstop from Chicago Midway to select cities in Florida for just $79.
You are now free to move about the country.
My parents just bought the only minivan to get a 5-star safety rating since I was born. So did mine. I can watch movies, and my dad says that they didn't even have to pay extra. Me too. Mom pushes a button, and the doors open like magic, and it beeps when she can't see my bike. Ours does that. My dad said that they had a choice of 0% for 72 months or $5,000 cash back. Us too. Our new minivan is a Ford Windstar. So is ours.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. Their parents did.
4-1 ball game. Cubs in front as we open a 7th inning. Tackle off the bat of Damian Miller down to Vinny Castilla. And Miller retired on the first pitch from Hampton here in the 7th. Hopefully Jim McKeon, one of the supervisors of the umpiring crew here tonight and in Major League Baseball. Hopefully he'll be able to stop up to the booth, Timmy, and tell us a little bit about that zany play in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
You know, the more we think about it, Tom, we were talking about it between innings, perhaps in the judgment of the umpires, the forced play at second base was called before Gary Sheffield passed Marcus Giles. I guess that's the reason they allowed Sheffield to stay at first base.
Which would be the right call.
Yeah, absolutely. if the force play was made before Sheffield passed Giles. If, however, the force play was made as we thought it was on the replay after Sheffield passed Giles, it seems to me that the force play hadn't been made yet. So therefore, Sheffield's automatically out, and Giles is out also because of the force play.
And then, of course, Chipper Jones promptly bounced into a double play to end the inning.
Right. So it makes the point moot. But still, I'm interested in Jim McKeon clearing it up for us.
1-2 to Kerry Wood. Down and in, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Top of the 7th inning in this National League Division Series Game 5. The winner will roll on to the National League Championship Series, which will begin either here in Atlanta or in Chicago on Tuesday night. We'll have it for you right here on Fox. Castilla throws out Kerry Wood, 2 away. Let's check in with Jeannie Zelasco at our Fox Television Center.
Well, as we speak, the A's and the Red Sox are flying the friendly skies because of this. David Ortiz broke out of an 0-for-16 slump with a 2-run double and 2 outs in the 8th to give the Red Sox the win and send them to a Game 5 tomorrow night on Fox. Yes, baseball's postseason continues on Fox with a decisive Game 5 between the Red Sox and the A's as the scene shifts back to the Bay Area. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox.
And it should be noted that Brady Little gave the ball to Scott Williamson, the former Cincinnati Red National League Rookie of the Year, and he had a very impressive 9th inning.
After a struggle during the regular season establishing himself in Boston, and here's Kenny Lofton, who was the most right on that play. I mean, he was right because he did make the catch. And as we said, that could have turned into a triple play had the throwing behind for Call and then behind Giles at first base.
Well, that's one of the toughest calls an umpire has to make. True. That sinking liner, a guy comes sliding in.
That's why in the postseason, baseball has 6 umpires instead of 4 to prevent something like that from happening because the outfield umpires have the better angle. But on that one, they didn't get it right.
Bruce Fleming, the closest to the play. The crew chief, tonight's second base umpire.
Closest to the play, but his angle wasn't as good as the left and right field umpire.
2-2 to Lofton. Left field umpire Dale Scott. Gary Cederstrom, the right field umpire. Base hit into right field. Tell you one thing, though, Tim, the umpiring throughout this entire postseason has been mighty good.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Kenny Lofton, a 2-out single. We're in the top half of the 7th inning, Game 5, National League Division Series. The Chicago Cubs trying to win their first postseason series since they won their last World Series in 1908. Bobby Cox going to come get Mike Hampton. A good effort tonight by Hampton, but Kerry Wood has been sensational.
Now this is big.
Now's the best time to buy wireless phones and accessories during the big sale at Radio Shack.
It's so big. It's
the LG VX6000 camera phone. Take, send, and personalize pictures. Just $149.99 after a $50 Radio Shack mail-in rebate.
It doesn't get any bigger than this.
The big sale. Now at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
I got a question for the folks at Radio Shack. Who's in charge of spelling around here?
I break for yard sales.
I break for animals.
I break for donuts.
Chocolate.
My grandkids.
Boys.
I break for little old ladies.
Bingo.
Leprechauns.
UFOs.
I break for free oil changes.
Visit your local Midas mechanic now and get a free oil change with any Midas brake job, including installation of our lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes. That's free oil and filter with any new brakes.
I break for no apparent reason.
I'm loving it. Great moments happen fast. 1 minute you're on top, but how long will it last? I'm loving it. So I'm trying to buy. Me and the lady should give it a test drive. I'm loving it. My thinking's far from average. Shopping carts just like a horse and carriage. I'm loving it. It's the real McCoy. It's the taste I was raised on from a little boy.
McDonald's. I'm loving it.
These are the days you might fill with laughter until you break.
Mike Hampton coming back on 3 days rest after pitching so well in game 2 of this series. Allows 7 hits so far, 4 runs. Lofton his responsibility at first. And now taking over on the mound, has pitched in every game now of this National League Division Series, Kevin Grabowski.
Numbers on Grabowski, and once Bobby Cox removes the left-hander and brings the right-hander in, it's going to be easier for Lofton to run on the right-handed Grabowski.
Lofton 30 stolen bases during the regular year, was only thrown out 9 times.
He's really the only bona fide base stealer for the Cubs. They have some pretty good base runners, but he is a base stealer.
Lofton 539 career stolen bases. Second highest among all active players behind the one, the only Ricky Henderson.
Everybody's going to be behind Ricky for a long, long time in that category.
0-2. It's really been hit or miss with this entire Atlanta Braves bullpen this season, after having the best bullpen in all of baseball last year. But it's been completely overhauled this year. Smoltz about the only sure thing down there. They pitch out. Runner goes. Throw to second. In time to cut down Lofton, and Bobby Cox guesses right. They stand and stretch in Atlanta. Andrew Jones and company coming up, down 3.
Wireless troubles?
My phone works here, not there. Same with voicemail, email.
Sprint is different. All your services work the same wherever you go, on the most complete, all-digital, advanced wireless network in the nation. And all the calls are clear.
So everything works.
And this will never happen again.
PCS from Sprint. Try the nation's most complete wireless network.
Oh, check this out. Dumb dog. So predictable. Domino's Philly cheesesteak pizza.
No drooling this time.
Guys like Philly cheesesteak. Guys like Domino's pizza. That's why Domino's created the new Philly cheesesteak pizza. Get a medium for only $9.99 and any second medium for just $5 more. Get the door. It's Domino's new Philly cheesesteak pizza.
Let's say this is you. Yeah, you're the king. But being the king isn't always easy. So, when you're with Allstate, you'll have over 50,000 professionals to help protect you. From claims adjusters who can help you fix a broken castle, to emergency assistants to ride to your rescue, to lawyers that go to court with you if you need them, and your Allstate agent who knows the moves to help you. Helping you, the king, feel protected. Just one more way you're in good hands with Allstate.
Dushku will find her true calling. Thursdays, Fox Fall.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. There's a chance before this night is over that Bud Light might break an all-time sales record in the history of Chicago if this game keeps going like it's going right now. And you can mark that down. On the ground, down to third. And Lopez thrown out by Ramirez.
The umpires between innings, that's Dale Scott, third base umpire Hunter Wintelstedt, and Bruce Fremming. And that was Bruce in the foreground there making that call after the left field umpire, at least that's the one I saw, for Kyle scores on the play because the ball was deemed a short hop, that it hit the ground before Lofton caught it.
Well, you're right, though, Timmy. That had triple play written all over.
Yeah. If the catch is made, the throw to second is an easy double play, and it's just a matter of throwing behind Giles at first, and that's what Giles was arguing about.
Broken bat, grounder to Gonzalez, who bobbles and throws, and Carroll's kept the toe on the bag.
Good recovery by Alex Gonzalez. The ball is hitting him in the heel of the glove and then kind of rolling up the torso and bouncing back to Gonzalez.
Lady Luck.
Lady Luck is right. When a guy hits a ball that hard to a left side of the infielder, he does have a chance to bobble the ball because the ball was hit so hard.
Franco arguably has had the best at-bats of the game tonight against Kerry Wood. He doesn't have a hit to show for it, but he drew a walk back in the second inning and lined out hard to Lofton in center field in the fifth. Franco's had the best at-bats of any Brave the last two games. I know Chipper hit 2 home runs in the ball game yesterday. But Franco yesterday had 3 hits and a walk. But the story so far, again, the 26-year-old Texan, Kerry Wood, trying to win his second game of this series, and for a second time do it in dominant, overpowering fashion. Wood has thrown 100 pitches in the game. And here comes 1-0-1. Fastball up and in to even the count on Franco. Kerry Wood, the 1998 National League Rookie of the Year, as Jarrett Wright gets loose in the Atlanta bullpen. Timmy mentioned on the 6th of May in 1998, Wood struck out the 20 Houston Astros. But then at the end of the year, his elbow began to bother him. He pitched 5 innings of Game 3 in that 3-game sweep by the Braves of that division series. And that ball laced into right center field, and it will go to the wall. And Julio into second base with a 2-out double.
The last time up, he hit it to center field, but it wasn't hit as hard as this one. This ball down and over the middle of the plate, rocketed to right center field.
Kerry Wood wound up finishing that 1998 season in a great deal of pain. Well, there's a reason why. He had to undergo Tommy John surgery and miss the entire 1999 season. Came back in 2000 to win 8 games, a 12-game winner in 01, 12-game winner again last season, and a career high 14 wins this year.
And one of the reasons for that operation, when you have a devastating breaking ball like this, it's got to put so much pressure on that elbow. And that was where the operation was performed, but he came back better than he was before.
Yep. Got away with maybe a hanger right there to Castillo. I can't remember him hanging another breaking ball in this entire game.
His hangers are thrown so hard. That's a big difference. There are hangers, and then there are hangers. His hangers are not like most hangers.
Yeah, they generally hang you out to dry. 0-2 on Castillo. Remlinger, the left-hander. And look here, Tim. Kyle Farnsworth throwing in the Cub bullpen. Dusty Baker wasn't sure whether Farnsworth would be able to go after injuring his knee and leaving the game last night. Off the glove of Gonzalez, rolls right at Grzelcyk. We talked about Lady Luck. Well, luck be a lady tonight for Kerry Wood and the Cubs. We march on to the 8th inning. The Cubs lead 4-1.
Luck be a Cubby tonight.
Introducing Wendy's Homestyle Chicken Strips.
Heaven, I'm in heaven.
3 delicious pieces of breast filet with your choice of Heartland Ranch, Deli Honey Mustard, and spicy Southwest Chipotle. When it comes to chicken strips, Wendy's has a better way. Our new Homestyle Chicken Strips. It's better here.
I know what I'm having for lunch.
And remember, you can eat great even late.
Beautiful. Why did Car and Driver name it Best Luxury SUV for 2003? Well, there's this. 4X Motion all-wheel drive.
Beautiful.
Touareg, the Volkswagen that does what other Volkswagens don't.
Turn up the heat with new Dentyne Fire. This is no ordinary gum. Ruby red shell outside, intensely cinnamon inside. It's new. It's cinnamon. It sizzles. New Dentyne Fire. Spark something.
For name brand lighting, you'll feel right at home at Lowe's.
I'm looking for light for my foyer.
And it's got to be special.
Exactly.
Lowe's has the brand name, styles, and finishes.
Like that.
The kind you'd expect at a lighting showroom, including the Kitzler line, even ceiling fans. And Lowe's has low prices every day, guaranteed. That's our promise.
That must have blown your budget. Nope.
Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Now spend $200 or more on Kitzler lights. Get a $25 gift card free.
I just want to run away. I do. I'd go anywhere with you.
His father is the district attorney. He wants to ruin our family. He wants to destroy my business. Can you imagine what will happen if the press gets a hold of this? They would ruin me. They would ruin you.
Why does it matter who our parents are?
You tell your son to keep his filthy hands off my daughter.
Every politician needs a target.
You cannot see this girl again ever.
The rich man's dead. What have I done?
I love you. I love you too.
Skin, a new series, premieres Monday, October 20th on Fox.
Kerry Wood talking things over with his battery mate Damian Miller. A 4-1 Chicago lead, and kind enough to join us, we mentioned it earlier, Jim McKeon, supervisor of Major League umpires, to talk about that wild play we saw on the sinking liner into center field off the bat of Gary Sheffield. Walk us through that play a little bit and exactly what the umpires are looking for and the call that they then have to make.
Well, the situation was the call they made was no catch, obviously, with Giles on first base and Sheffield's a hitter. So therefore the ball is alive and in play. which means Marcus Giles can go to second base, Sheffield can come to first base, and it stands. If Gary Sheffield passes Giles on the bases, then obviously the force out comes up. Giles does not have to run because Sheffield is out passing before the force out is made. And that's basically what it is. It's a little confusing, but that's really what it is.
So if it's deemed that Gary Sheffield passes the runner before the force out at second base, then Giles simply goes back to first.
Right.
And Sheffield is out, not Giles.
Absolutely.
Well, that explains it beautifully. Fly ball in the right field by Mark Resolano.
Here it is right here. And forget whether the call was a catch or no catch. We're not talking about that.
Right.
But Sheffield it appeared right there that Sheffield may have passed the runner before the force out was made. But once the force out is made, then Giles and not Sheffield should have occupied first.
Absolutely.
I see.
That's what it is.
So either way you look at it, there's going to be a man on first base.
Right. Right.
Sammy Sosa, the batter. 0-1 to Sosa, who has walked, struck out twice. The Cubs 6 outs away from winning their first postseason series in 95 years. And no, Tim McCarver did not broadcast that 1908 World Series. You've done every one of them in the last 100 years, it seems like. Lucky you. 2-1 to Sammy.
Well, let's see. Theodore Roosevelt was president that year. All right.
There have been 17 United States presidents since then.
Including one here in the stands tonight.
Indeed. Ground ball to short. And the current president of the United States, George W. Bush, of course, a big baseball fan, former managing partner, owner of the Texas Rangers, and a very close friend, as we talked about during the game last night, of none other than Julio Franco.
Yeah. Great story that was.
Yeah, the George Bush and his wife, along with the twin daughters, came to Julio's wedding. And Julio was asked the question, well, you know, do you have his phone number? Do you call him W? He said, that information is classified. But he considers the president to be a good friend. Will Kinane getting loose in the Atlanta bullpen. Jim, we want to certainly thank you for taking the time to get away from your seats and watching the ball game and evaluating and supervising the umpires tonight to explain that ruling to all the folks watching at home and to us here in the booth.
Great, Tom. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You've seen a lot of wild plays in your day.
Oh, I sure have. Sure have.
Timmy was talking about the play again in Boston last night.
Right. I was in Chicago with this series, so I didn't really get a chance to see it until I got to the hotel. And by the time I saw it, of course, everything was done. But it was, we've had some plays. You know, it's amazing. You see baseball and you move along, and I had 30 years of it in the big leagues. And every day something else happens. Yep. You know, it's just something new in baseball. That's what's so great about the game.
Jim, thanks again.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
Mac.
you.
Thank you.
The McKeon supervisor of umpires here tonight. And we certainly thank him for his time for coming up and to bring us up to speed. And again, you know, we're not up here to ask Jim McKeon, for those of you wondering, you know, and Timmy, you brought it up. We're not going to ask him about a call that's made on the field that he has nothing to do with. And whether or not Lofton made the catch. And our fabulous crew here bringing you those gorgeous pictures. It clearly showed Lofton did catch the ball.
It makes so much sense, and I didn't know that. I thought that once Sheffield passed the runner, not only, well, of course, there it shows that Lofton caught the ball, and we weren't talking to Jim McKeon about that. But again, once Sheffield passes Giles, in the opinion of the umpire, then Sheffield is out, but Giles is free to come back to first base. He is no longer a forced player at second. They didn't call it that way. They called him out as the forced player at second base, contending it was nolo contendere as far as Sheffield passing Giles. It was not the issue.
2 down in the inning, 3-2 to Moises Alou. Swing and a miss. 1-2-3 for Jared Wright. Bottom of the 8th inning in Atlanta. 4-1 Chicago.
What life strips away. The 245 horsepower V6 Nissan Altima quickly restores.
Come on in, Derek. Derek, I thought we had this thing worked out. I hear you're out dancing, eating, and just carousing with your friends. Is it true you're going out every night?
Absolutely not.
Good.
If you want to enjoy the New York nightlife, bring your Visa card, because Orso, Cheetah, and the Broome Street Bar don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Hey, Derek, we are running late. Sorry.
Introducing Taco Bell's new spicy chicken burrito. Packed with shredded chicken, simmered in Mexican spices, loads of seasoned rice, and zesty fiesta salsa. It's a little spicy. Taco Bell's new spicy chicken burrito, just $1.29. To get your fill of this satisfying thrill, think outside the bun.
My brother Danny and me, for as long as I can remember, we've been competitive about everything. He got a new truck, I got a bigger one. I've got a family, he's got a bigger one. That's the way it's always been. Then my doctor tells me to start taking an aspirin every day for my heart. Just one St. Joseph aspirin. It's smaller than a regular aspirin, but he says that's all I need. So maybe bigger isn't always better. Try telling him that.
St. Joseph aspirin. Trust it with all your heart.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. By St. Joseph aspirin. Trust it with all your heart. By Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. And by Taco Bell, where you can spice up the night. The Atlanta offense looking for a little spice against Kerry Wood. Trailing 4-1, bottom of the 8th inning. And Mark DeRosa will bat for Jarrett Wright. DeRosa, when he's had a chance to play, has had a solid series. 3 of 6. A couple of doubles, a couple of runs batted in. He had that 8th inning, 2-out, 2-run double in Game 2. That proved to be the game-winning hit. Kyle Farnsworth ready in the Chicago bullpen. That's nice to see that he's all right.
It was such an odd play he had to make on the bunt by Robert Fick yesterday.
Fly ball short right field. Late break by Sosa, but Grzelcyk out to get it. Here's a play we were talking about from last night. Robert Fick pinch hitting in the 8th inning. The first batter that Kyle Farnsworth faced slipped, threw from his knees, and then jammed his right knee in the ground when he fell to the ground and actually lost feeling in that knee.
From his knee to his ankle, Dusty Baker said he had no feeling last night. That feeling has returned. Kerry Wood hopeful that he doesn't have that feeling of being removed from the game tonight.
The Atlanta Braves are down to their final 5 outs. And Kerry Wood, the 0-1 to Furcal, lays down the bunt, and this is a hit all the way.
Damian Miller appeared to be taken back by that bunt. You really have nothing to lose with nobody on base. You can cheat toward the fair part of the field. If you think he's going to bunt, go up with him. Damon back on his heels. No play.
Take a look at our Nissan game summary. Again, the story has been Kerry Wood. Hampton with a solid outing. But Gonzalez and Ramirez touched him up for a home run. The big one, that Ramirez 2-run home run in the 6th. It was a 2-0 game at the time. But the Atlanta Braves, we told you, they led the major leagues in come from behind wins. Marcus Giles, the batter. Fouled out of play, and Kerry Wood ahead 0-2.
After 6 straight fastballs, the 6th one on which Giles got a hit his last at bat. 2 breaking balls from Kerry Wood this at bat.
Wood struck out 7 batters in the first 5 innings. He has not struck out a batter since.
Nor has Kerry had a lot of fly ball outs, and often that's the sign of a power pitcher too. You start getting ground ball outs when you're a power pitcher like Kerry Wood. That could indicate a little off the breaking ball, a little off the fastball.
Fly ball straight away center field, playable for Lofton, who will wave off Sosa. 2 away. The last time the Cubs won a game in postseason play facing elimination is when the Cubs beat the Detroit Tigers 8-7 at Wrigley Field in Game 6 of the 1945 World Series. Now Sheffield, 1 of 3. Down low, ball 1.
I'd say, I think a mixture of people saying, let's go Brubs or Craves.
Well, now you're starting to hear either Kerry or Gary. You decide. Sharply grounded at Gonzalez. Kerry Wood and the Chicago Cubs are 3 outs away from advancing to the National League Championship Series.
Gina, check this out. I'm sitting next to your new boyfriend. Don't you just love your new boyfriend?
I do love him.
As long as you're happy.
Picture mail that talks from Sprint. At Sprint stores, choose from a wide selection of picture phones starting at $99.99. Share it when it happens.
Your boss expects a report in 1 hour. But it's a gorgeous 74 degrees outside. So, you handle it like a true professional. With a laptop powered by Centrino, Intel's mobile technology, you can work wirelessly in thousands of places, even Bryant Park, under your favorite tree. Intel Centrino, mobile technology.
Hey, which never-ending pasta you guys getting? Penne with Alfredo sauce. Spaghetti with the meat sauce. Fettuccine with pesto. You guys play tennis today?
Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl, just $7.95. Pick one combination of sauce and pasta, then another. Have all you want. Wonderful.
Let's see, I bought yellow pencils, yellow Post-it notes, yellow boxers. Yellow boxers.
$14.
Land courier, air courier, pedicure, reader.
$137.
2 printers, 2 scanners, 2 tutus.
$540. Keeping business expenses separate from personal expenses? Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Apply online for the MasterCard business card.
Life got simple the day I plugged into the big brown machine. West Coast overnight, done. China, 48 hours, done. Brown picks it all up together and delivers it all on time. And with their global tracking system, I get the proof. It isn't that I'm not a trusting person. Yes, it is.
International Overnight Ground. Synchronized. UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Cubs come to bat. Top half of the 9th inning with a 4-1 lead. The series tied at 2 games apiece, and on to pitch for Atlanta. Right-hander Will Kinane.
Will, in yesterday's ball game, he pitched a scoreless inning. He'll try to hold things down for the Braves so they can mount an effort in the bottom half of the 9th inning.
Popped up by Ramirez into short center field, and Giles out to get it. Kerry Wood grew up in Irving, Texas, with his father Gary, his mother Terry, his brother Donnie, big Texas Rangers fans. His father was his son's Little League baseball coach, and said that Kerry was usually the smallest kid on the team. He was never the best pitcher on the team. Kerry recalled later that he was the little shortstop who slapped at the ball and tried to beat it out. He could run, he said, back in those days. But you could always see the exceptional athletic ability of Kerry Wood. In fact, a week after his dad showed him how Nolan Ryan gripped a curveball, Kerry started throwing it in high school, and, well, you know the rest of the story.
Well, his delivery resembles Roger Clemens and not Nolan Ryan. A great leg movement. Roger Clemens winning for the Yankees yesterday as the Yankees clinched in Minnesota this afternoon.
Backhanded by Castillo, long throw, and Franco dropped the ball. Barros reaches safely with 1 away here in the 9th.
Sometimes you put your foot on the bag too soon and you're getting locked. And that appeared to have happened to Franco then. It may be an error on third baseman Vinny Castilla, but that's a ball that Franco usually sucks up.
Our All-State good hands defensive play of the game. That sharp grounder off the glove of Gonzalez. Ricocheted right at Grzelcyk. Final out of the inning. Still waiting on a scoring decision on that play a moment ago. Kerry Wood not much worried about that. He has his eye on the bottom half of the 9th inning, and it is a throwing error on Vinny Castilla. Fouled out of play, 2-1 to Alex Gonzalez.
This is a running situation right here. You have the combination of Gonzalez, a contact hitter. You don't have speed on at first base, but that's not a consideration. What is that the pitcher is in the hole, Kerry Wood. It's doubtful Dusty Baker will pinch hit for him. So why not send the runner, get a runner on at third base so you can score on something other than a hit? We'll see what Dusty Baker does. Nope.
That is a fair ball down the left field line. Making a turn on his way to third is Karros, and Gonzalez will stop with a single. And the Cubs with runners on the corners, and only 1 out, leading by 3 here in the top of the 9th.
Now, I know Dusty Baker is not a proponent of the squeeze play. Why? Because he was an outfielder and such a good hitter. A lot of times good hitting outfielders don't like to squeeze in 1 run. But this is an ideal situation. You have a double play man at the plate. And again, Kerry Wood is on deck, or should be on deck.
Well, he'll be on deck.
I mean, he's not out there.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But Damian Miller's a good bunter. So we'll see what Dusty Baker tries to do right here. 3 ground outs. He's a double play candidate.
And how about this? Kerry Wood will not come into the on-deck circle. Boy, that is a shocker to me, Timmy. I don't know about you.
Well, Kerry might still be in the game. He may be having a regular player out there on the on-deck circle to tell the runner what to do in case he tries to score. Just because you're on the on-deck circle doesn't mean you're out of the game. I'm guessing that might be it. Perhaps.
Damian Miller waits. And he looks at strike one on the outside corner.
I would be very surprised if Wood comes out of the game. But most pitchers don't know base running situations. So you want a base runner, and Tom Goodwin's one of the best out there to tell the runner what to do in case he tries to score.
Right down the gut, a fastball for strike 2.
Scratch all that squeeze talk. Unless it goes to 3-2, and then that could get it going again.
Runners on the corners with 1 away in the Chicago 9th inning. And there's strike 3 called. Damian Miller looked at 3 straight strikes in that at bat with a runner at third and only 1 out. And Goodwin is going to bat for Kerry Wood.
I guess Kyle Farnsworth is all right to close this game, or Joe Borowski. Again, Kerry Wood had 13 120 plus pitch games this year, and 1 last Tuesday. But Tom Goodwin, who could be dangerous because of his speed, with 2 out.
What an effort tonight by Kerry Wood. Again, second time in this series. In game 1, 7 1/3 innings, allowed 2 hits, struck out 11, gave up 2 runs. You see 117 pitches tonight. 5 hits, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. The 7 strikeouts came in the first 5 innings. 1-1 on Goodwin. And I can promise you so many of those die-hard Cub fans sitting and watching at home right now saying, why is Kerry Wood out of this game? But those are the reasons why they brought Dusty Baker here from San Francisco to get this team into the postseason. And once they got to the postseason, try to win in the postseason.
I tell you, it's not clear cut. Not the way Wood has been throwing. Because he is dealing with an inconsistent bullpen without a dominant stopper.
Lined into right field by Goodwin, a base hit. Scoring is Eric Karros. On to third, Gonzalez. And on to second goes Goodwin with a big pinch hit, 1 scoring double, and the lead swells to 4. Dusty knew what he was doing all along.
Absolutely. A collective exhale for all of those folks in Chicago you were talking about. Terrific hitting by Goodwin down the right field line. Karros scores easily. You can see Wendell Kim in the background. And had there been a momentary bobble in right field by Sheffield, then Gonzalez would have been sent home.
Canane is out. And Bobby Cox will go to his bullpen. Chicago leading in the 9th inning, 5-1.
When you're redoing your bathroom, you'll feel right at home at Lowe's.
Look at it all. There's so much to choose from.
Well, I'll make it easy. Only Lowe's has genuine jacuzzi brand tubs, toilets, and sinks in stock. And to enhance them, we stock the largest selection of name brand faucets, including Delta and Moan. And Lowe's has low prices every day, guaranteed. That's our promise. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Use your Lowe's card and pay nothing for 6 months on jacuzzi product purchases of $2.99 or more.
You know, some interesting facts about Delaware, guys. It was the first state to ratify the Constitution. Thank you, forefathers. Man, am I glad we wrote that thing up. Each article, I mean, we'll cover all the articles, but North Carolina. Horse population of 220,000. A lot of hooves, too, almost 1 million. A lot of hay. You know, what is hay exactly? Is it wheat? You know, I dated a girl named Georgia. Had to break
For
it
when
off,
you
though.
need it most, our longest lasting Energizer Max ever.
Yeah, after that, I told myself,
Do you have the bunny
I am
inside?
not dating girls named after states.
I bought a toothbrush, some toothpaste, a flannel for my face, pajamas, a hairbrush, new shoes, and a case. I said to my reflection, let's get out of this place. Tempted by the fruit of another, tempted, but the truth is discovered.
In my dream, I'm in a museum.
Executivus obsoletus.
Executivus obsoletus.
He's extinct.
I'm extinct.
His inability to adapt to the rapidly changing business climate proved his downfall.
What does it mean?
You need to adapt fast or perish.
Perish?
Or be acquired.
I'd rather perish.
Let's go see the woolly mammoth.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Well, Tim McCarver, I think we finally have found out the reason why Kerry Wood is out of this game. Mark Pryor came over and said, hey, big fella, I want my glove back right now. Runners at second and third, and Kenny Lofton, the batter, against the new Atlanta pitcher, Ray King.
You've used it for 8 innings. I want it back. Ray King with a tendency to get wild. And this, by no means, wrapping up things for the Cubs because they still have the bottom of the 9th. And King will try to restore order here for 1 out.
Throw to the backstop. Here comes a runner. Throw to the plate. King the tag and out at the plate. Short amount of distance between the plate and the backstop, much like old Fulton County Stadium. A ricochet to Lopez. King got to the plate, tagged him out.
Some way to restore order.
And the Cubs, 79-2, leading at the end of 8.
I'd made a promise to Janie. Her new bike had to be ready. But my migraine just wouldn't go away. That's when I knew I had to talk to my doctor about my migraines. She prescribed Imitrex.
Prescription Imitrex targets your total migraine. Pain, nausea, sensitivity to light and sound. Some pain relievers are made for general kinds of pain. Imitrex is targeted. It was the first medicine of its kind, believed to target the nerves and blood vessels that trigger migraine without drowsiness.
Imitrex is not right for everyone or every migraine. If you have certain types of heart or blood vessel disease or uncontrolled blood pressure, you shouldn't take Imitrex. Very rarely, certain people, even some without heart disease, have had serious heart-related problems. So talk to your doctor, especially if you have risk factors for heart disease such as smoking, high blood pressure, or high cholesterol, or if you're pregnant, nursing, or taking medication.
I don't know why I waited so long.
Ask your doctor about Imitrex. Target your total migraine and get back to your life.
Wow. Somebody's letting go today.
It's okay. I had Subway for lunch.
Subway, delicious low-fat sandwiches, so you can feel good about being good and okay about being bad.
It's okay. I had Subway.
Subway, good, so you don't always have to be.
On
on the road and stuck trying to get business email in all the wrong places? Get Verizon Wireless Email Access and your data will travel on America's most reliable wireless network.
Can you hear me now? Good.
For all your company's wireless needs, we mean business. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Well, how did you vote in our Sprint Virtual Manager question? Which is worse, the Braves making the playoffs 12 straight years, winning only one World Series title, or the Cubs not winning a postseason series for 95 years? And by far, the Cubs 0 for 95. The last time a Chicago Cubs won a postseason series was 1908. And now they'll hand the ball to Joe Borowski in a non-save situation. The Cubs in front as we go to the bottom of the ninth inning, leading 5-1. The Cubs got back to the World Series in 1910. They lost to the Athletics 4-1. In 1918, the Red Sox beat the Cubs 4-2. The Red Sox were led by a pitcher named Babe Ruth. 1929, the A's again got the Cubs 4-1 in that 29 World Series. That ball hammered into right center field by Chipper Jones. Sammy at the wall, got it.
Luck be a Cubby tonight, says Sammy Sosa. A ball that on most days is gone. Stays in the ballpark and caught by Sosa.
In 1932, the Cubs lost to the Yankees 4-0 in the World Series. Game 3 played at Wrigley Field and featured Babe Ruth's supposed called shot in the 5th inning of that game. In 35, they lost the World Series to the Tigers. In 38, to the Yankees. In 45, they lost in 7 games to the Tigers. In 84, they made their postseason appearance for the first time since 1945. Got up 2-0 to San Diego in the LCS in the best of 5. And then lost 3 in a row in San Diego. In 89, it was Will Clark and the Giants out-slugging Mark Grace and the Cubs 5-1. And then in 98, they got to the postseason. And unlike this year's team, when they made it 98, you never felt they had a legitimate chance to beat Atlanta that year.
No. But with this young pitching, a legitimate chance to beat anybody.
We talked about it in Game 1. To truly appreciate, or I think understand, the plight of a Chicago Cub fan, you probably had to spend a summer in Chicago, maybe a year or two, or just grow up living anywhere, growing up and rooting for the Chicago Cubs to understand what these moments right now are like for lifelong Chicago Cub fans. They are without a doubt the most loyal. They've remained so eternally optimistic. Swing and a miss by Javier Lopez. And now the Cubs are an out away. They support their team whether they win or oftentimes lose. And of course that phrase they've been saying since 1908, wait till next year. Well, this year may be their year. You know, Timmy, the one guy that I think of first and foremost who's not here tonight is Ron Santo. Of course, one of the all-time greats at third base, who's sitting back at his Chicago home watching the game tonight. He's had both legs amputated due to his bout with diabetes the last couple of years. 0-2 to Jones. Ron having further health complications and was unable to make the trip here tonight. And I can promise you there is no man who is happier at this moment in time than Ron Santo. He embodies everything there is about being a Cub fan. Lost his first leg 2 winters ago, a second leg last year, and never missed a day of work this season. Optimistic, grinding it out, looking ahead and not behind. And now a chance to experience something not done since 1908. You've waited 95 years, Chicago. It's time to celebrate. The Chicago Cubs advance to the National League Championship Series. Sarah Wood undoubtedly will celebrate with her husband, who more than likely has to be the MVP of this series, going 2-0. 15 1/3 innings, allowed 3 runs, struck out 19 batters.
The Florida Marlins are on their way to Chicago, and so are the Cubs. And our congratulations to Dusty Baker, who brought a new kind of attitude to the Chicago area, and it's worked.
Perry Wood, the Cubs' #1 pick back in June of 1995 out of Grand Prairie, Texas High School. The National League's Rookie of the Year, missed a season with Tommy John elbow surgery. They brought Dusty Baker to get rid of that lovable loser's tag. Great stuff. Celebration is on in the Cubs dugout here at Turner Field, and it is big league on in Chicago. So the Cubs will have home field advantage in that National League Championship Series against the Florida Marlins.
Here is a team that, of the 8 teams originally in the playoffs, have won the fewest games. Only 88 wins on the year. And they beat the Atlanta Braves in 5.
And there you get a look at the neighborhood.
Wrigleyville.
Wrigleyville.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Whether you're talking about Murphy's Bleachers or the Cubby Bear or Birdie's or any place you can think of all over that city, all over the state, and in regions all over the world, they celebrate this Cub win. Let's go downstairs and hear from Sammy Sosa. Sammy, thanks so much for joining us. Any way to put into words your feelings right now as your team wins this postseason series?
It's unbelievable. I remember '98 that, the Atlanta have a chance to sweep off over there, but now, it's our chances. That was a good battle, but we never give up. Caribou was tremendous today. The whole team is absolutely, very happy, and we got to move to the next step.
Sammy, I know you are happy you're playing behind these young pitchers instead of trying to face them, right?
No question about it. I mean, it's when you got a pitcher like that, like Caribou in the mound, and Mark Pryor and Zambrano, you don't need to score 20 runs. I think they've been doing the job, and especially myself, I'm playing with my heart for those playoffs. So I want to be there every moment.
Sammy, we asked you the other day about a season for you that certainly had its, proverbial trials and tribulations. You talked about it openly and honestly, and you said, you know what? We still came out on top. You came out on top. Has this season been, at the same time, a difficult season and the best season at the same time, all in one year?
For me, everything that I've been through is one of the great seasons that I've ever had in my career, because all the things that happened to me and my teammates, the team, supporting me 100%. Now, we come another way. It's awesome. And we're not going to stop here. I know that, we got some few more steps to go. But right now, to do everything to Dusty Baker and the whole team, we've been great. And, you know, we know what we got, and we never panic.
Well, Sammy, we thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Congratulations, and we'll see you on Tuesday night.
Thank you. Take care.
Sammy Sosa and the rest of the Cub Nation celebrating this first postseason series win since 1908. Talking about a team that lost 95 games a season ago. One of only 3 teams since 1900 to lose more than 90 games, come back, and win a division title the following year.
And Dusty Baker with a chance, a long way to go, but a chance to go to the World Series for the second consecutive year with 2 different teams. Dusty, that's remarkable.
Well, you know, it is remarkable, and these guys are remarkable. I mean, they played their butts off. You know, they believed in the coaches, they believed in themselves, and the organization believed in us. And I tell you, boys, this is unbelievable. Yeah, it is remarkable. And, you know, when the year started, we just said, hey, man, no matter what happened in the past, we got to leave it in the past. And it's a new year. You know, people talked about 69 and 84 and 89, but we didn't care anything about that. This is 2003, and I just gotta commend these guys and thank God for everything that's happened so far.
Dusty, you generally will not take the credit when certainly credit is deserved. But was it tougher than maybe you even imagined to try to get people to believe that the Chicago Cubs actually could get it turned around and win?
Well, it was tough in the beginning, you know, because you hear a lot of negatives, and the people had reason to be negative. It's been a long time they've had something to be positive about, and, you know, I don't know. I just, you know, prayed a lot and just asked the Lord to change the mindset of people and, you know, just change the mindset of the organization and the team. And quite frankly, we didn't think we were going to get it done quite this quickly. And, you know, I'm just thankful that we did. And now we got 2 more steps to go in a 4-step process. And we know those tough Marlins are waiting in front of us. But, boy, to come down here and beat these Braves in Atlanta, well, that's a wonderful feat.
Well, Dusty, you and your players have certainly changed that mindset.
Yeah, well, you know, we tried to. I mean, you can tell how many fans are out here. And, you know, I mean, the Cubs are here. And I'm just hoping that we start this run, the same run that the Braves have for the last 12 years, and start with pitching. And our pitching was outstanding in this series.
Dusty, thank you for your time. Congratulations. Okay. Enjoy the night.
All right. Thank you.
The Cubs march on where they'll face the Florida Marlins. They beat the Marlins 4 of the 6 games they played this season. And all the meetings came after Jack McKeon took over. Well, the party is on in Chicago. The coordinating producer of Major League Baseball on Fox is Michael Weissman. The producer of tonight's game, Carol Langley. Our director, Bill Well. The associate director, Aaron Stoikoff. Our broadcast associate, Eric Billickmeyer. Our technical producer, David Hill. The studio show produced by Gary Lang, directed by Bob Levy. The coordinating producer of the studio show, Scott Ackerson. And the studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. And the executive producers are David Hill and Ed Gore. For Tim McCarver and our entire crew, Timmy, I enjoyed it, my friend.
Me too, Tom.
Good luck the next round of the World Series.
Thank you, sir.
Jeannie Zelasco, Kevin Kennedy will be along in the Fox Television Center with some final thoughts. Coming up after these messages, congratulations to the Chicago Cubs. We'll have them in the Florida Marlins Game 1 of the National League Championship Series on Tuesday night.
From the moment they met, they knew it was meant to be.
I can't believe you're stealing your boyfriend's car.
He's not my boyfriend.
Does he know that?
He does now.
The only thing they didn't expect.
His father is the district attorney. He wants to destroy my business.
Was life getting in the way?
If the press gets a hold of this, they would ruin me. They would ruin you.
Fox presents the tale of 2 families divided by ambition.
Why does it matter who our parents are?
And joined by love.
When I'm with her, I just feel so good. It's unbelievable.
This has to stop. You cannot see this girl again ever.
You tell your son to keep his filthy hands off my daughter.
Let's take him down.
You can't tell me not to see him!
The rich man's dead.
What have I done?
From executive producer Jerry Bruckheimer.
I love you, Adam.
I love you too.
Skin premieres Monday, October 20th on Fox.
Tonight, the do-or-die game for the mighty Cubs. Corey McFerrin and Mark Sapolsky report live from Atlanta with post-game interviews and highlights. And, of course, we'll have reaction from Wrigleyville, plus the nail-biter at Soldier Field. The Bears won their first. Details after the game.
Attractive Civic Coupe from Honda.
Hi, I lowered my cholesterol. These are nice. I lowered my cholesterol.
In case you haven't already heard the news, Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower your cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet, and with its sweet honey taste. That ought to make you really happy.
My cholesterol's down, excuse me.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Be happy, be healthy.
A chance to experience something not done since 1908. You've waited 95 years, Chicago. It's time to celebrate.
History is just that. History. Finally, it's not wait until next year. It's wait until next series. The Brick and Ivy Crazies, Kevin, they are climbing the wall tonight.
What the Cubs have this go around versus before, Jeannie, they've got great starting pitching led by Kerry Wood tonight. Mark Pryor, of course, and Zambrano. Those three guys. Kerry Wood was dominant, as we said in the pregame show. 98 with the fastball, up in the zone, down in the zone. He was changing the eyesight of the hitters. Power fastball. Take a look right here on Chipper Jones. Can't lay off of that kind of gas. 98 up in the zone, and now goes south right here with the breaking ball down in the zone. Just too tough tonight. Dominant. 8 strong innings for Kerry Wood. Put the hitters away. 18 strikeouts and 15 in the third innings in the postseason for Kerry Wood. There's Andrew Jones right there. I mean, that's just lights out gas against some very, very good fastball hitters.
A little bit of irony here as Mr. Hampton goes down in defeat, and it's the Florida Marlins that are still paying a huge chunk of Hampton's salary this season.
You are absolutely right. And how about Boston? Jeannie fortunate Game 5 tomorrow night.
That's right. You said it. Baseball's postseason continues on Fox with another decisive Game 5. This one between the Red Sox and the A's. The scene shifts back to the Bay Area. Pedro Martinez, Barry Zito going at it 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Tuesday, how about Game 1 of the NLCS? And keep in mind, wasn't it Jack McKeon that said, quote, I don't think the Cubs will be in the playoffs? Look out, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox.
The Cubs are
Tuesday.
here, and they've got gas. They've got some heat for your hitters. No question about it, with Wood and Pryor. Dominant.
All right, our work is not done because we got another series to decide tomorrow night. For Kevin Kennedy, I'm Jeannie Zelasco. It's the Red Sox. It's the A's. Who's going to move on and meet the Yankees? Find out tomorrow night on Fox.
Over the past 10 years, some of the greatest moments in all of sports happened right here on Fox.
Emmett Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports, celebrating 10 years of excellence.
I've got to have this for Saturday night. What's Saturday?
This is awesome!
You might want to check out these speakers too. They're shorter. Shorter's good. Yeah.
Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. Best Buy.
No two are the same. Their lives are as different as concrete and consulting, medicine and manufacturing. Here's to the small business owners, separated by the differences in where each is going, bound by the confidence they'll get there. Seeing small business differently. SBC.
I'm Jack Ryan, Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate. Let's say this is your typical Washington bureaucrat, and these are your tax dollars. In Washington, if you don't grab all the money you can and spend it, your budget might get cut. And no bureaucrat wants that. It's a simple case of supply and demand. And because the demand will always be there, we have to cut off the supply.
Jack Ryan, businessman, teacher, Republican.
I'm Jack Ryan, and I approve this Republican message.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox News Postgame.
It was winner take all, and tonight Kerry Wood had him wavering at the win, while Aramis Ramirez and Kenny Lofton showed that sometimes piracy isn't all that bad. The Cubs are now one step closer to their first World Series in 58 years. You can see people beginning to celebrate on the streets of Wrigleyville right now. The Cubs continue their push for the pennant here on Fox. Good evening. I'm Walter Jacobson.
And I'm Robin Robinson. Let's begin our coverage. We could go about anywhere because I think they're celebrating everywhere, but let's check with Corey McPherson and Mark Sapelsa live in Atlanta first. Corey and Mark.
How you doing, everybody? We're at Sheffield and Peachtree Street here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Wrigley Field South celebrating the Cubs' victory tonight. Again, you saw it right here, 5-1. You can hear they're mocking the Braves chant right now. Leo, can you see the fans? There have to be at least 3,000 to 4,000 fans who have come down to the Cubs dugout to celebrate with their heroes.
And they helped set a record tonight here at Turner Field, a franchise record for the Braves, 54,353, and I'm telling you what, these Cub fans were louder than any of them.
And the Cubs couldn't get it done in 84, couldn't get it done in 89, but this team, surprising, of course, in that they finished in last place, 30 games out of first place a season ago. Now back to the NLCS, where they hope to get it done against the Florida Marlins. And one of the heroes right here, his name is Kenny Lofton. Kenny, congratulations. You can use that mic right there. You got something in your right hand. What is that?
Bottle of champagne where the guys have been tossing all over me, and I'm about to shoot this in the stands in a minute.
Kenny, can you put into words what this means? You're a lifelong Cubs fan. To come here in late July and be such a pivotal part of the pennant run and to get the first step under your belt tonight.
Well, it's just exciting coming out here and having an opportunity to come out here and play with the Cubs. And it's just a dream come true to come out here and just, come to Atlanta knowing that, the Braves are something that has a little itch against me, and it's something that it makes it more exciting coming to Atlanta and beating these guys.
Great series, fine catch tonight.
Oh, thank you, but,
Controversial play in the sixth inning. Tell us from your angle. The replay showed clearly you caught the ball, but that was a bizarre play and very confusing to everybody across America.
Yeah, it was. When I came as a line drive, and I said I'm going to take a chance on going after it, but I kept my glove underneath and opened, and the ball hit right in there, and I looked up, and the umpire said no catch, and I'm like, what are you guys looking at? But you know what? We won, and that's all that matters at this point.
In the end, it was a moot point. Give me a 30-second thumbnail sketch of the Florida Marlins next up Tuesday night, Wrigley Field.
Well, just in case, the Florida's going to come out there and they're going to try to be aggressive with their base running with Pierre and Castillo, but we're going to go out there and counter with the pitching we have. So it's going to be a fun matchup.
They are the hottest team in baseball since May, right after Jack McKeon took over. It's going to be a tough matchup, don't you think?
I mean, it's going to be tough. All the games are tough at this point. You're in the playoffs, and anything can happen.
All right, Kenny, go celebrate. I'll take your microphone. Congratulations. Kenny Lofton, the pride of East Chicago, Indiana. And watch this. Woohoo! Right on cue. I gotta love that. Kenny Lofton, one of the three Buccaneers, one of the three Pirates that came over this summer. Of course, Aramis Ramirez with a big two-run homer tonight. Randall Simon coming up continuously with big hits and big plays. Without those three ex-Pirates, I don't think the Cubs are going to be here tonight.
Listen to the crowd. Unbelievable. They're hanging in.
We got Sammy. Who we got? Sammy Sosa's coming up.
Sammy Sosa's coming down to talk about the end of the 95-year drought. Here we go, Sam.
Sam the man. He's got some champagne as well.
Here he comes.
Sammy.
Sammy, give us your thoughts.
Oh, my God. You know how happy I am. The city of Chicago. We love you guys. I mean, we're coming back home with a victory. I want to say hi to my wife and my mother, everybody watching me home. And besides that, we got the victory once again. We're moving to the next step, and then we go to the World Series.
Going into this series, you said this is different than 98 for the main reason we have guys who know how to pitch. And tonight we saw it one more time. Kerry Wood was magnificent.
Well, in a short series like that, when you got a secret weapon the way we have, you have a lot of confidence in yourself. We got good pitching, we play good defense, and we don't need to score 20 runs. We need to score a couple runs, and everything came through. Kerry was awesome today once again. It's lovely. It's lovely. We know that if you got the pitching, you're going to win so many games.
You've had quite a year. Lots of things have happened to you, not all of them positive. This erases a ton of it, doesn't it?
It is. It's one of the great years that I've had because all the things that happened to me and the team are supporting me 100%. I've been here for so many years, and we're going forward. We're not going to stop right here. We're going to the World Series.
The fans that are here tonight, the fans that supported you all year long, your entire career, obviously are thirsty for more. You have to be able to get in touch with that hunger and realize this has been a long time coming.
We're not satisfied yet. We know what we got. We know the step we got to just keep it continue going forward. We're getting ready. We're prepared for everything. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting because, we're getting close. We're going to the final, and we will be there.
Having it at home for 2 games gets you off to a great start. Mark Pryor probably leading everything off. How tough is that matchup going to be?
It's going to be great. Like I said before, we got Mark Pryor. Once again, it's been unbelievable. Having Mark Pryor, for the first game, it's going to be awesome. And then, we're going to take it from there.
Sammy, thanks very much. Do you have any message for the fans as we let you go?
They're waiting for us in Chicago. We got to come all the way here to celebrate when we're coming back home with a victory. It ain't over here. We're going to keep it continue, giving what you deserve. I love you.
I think they're thirsty for champagne, too. Go have at it.
All right, Sam. Sammy Sosa, everybody. What's interesting about Sammy and the Cubs, Sammy really, from an offensive standpoint, has been a non-factor in this series, and it just proves once again, the old cliche, good pitching beats good hitting. And when you started this series out and you thought, can the Braves beat Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood twice? I thought, I'm not so sure they can. And obviously, that's the way it's turned out tonight. Kerry Wood, a 5-hitter through 8 innings. Just magnificent. In fact, we have Kerry Wood right now at the podium. Let's listen in.
And strike one, and that was big for me tonight.
You were using Mark Pryor's glove, is that correct?
That is correct. I did not put my glove in my bag when we left, and so had to kind of last minute try to find a glove, so I figured I'd find one with a lot of strikes in it.
The Braves are one of the top offensive teams in baseball. You shut them down twice. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Well, there's no doubt about it. They're they didn't want to win 101 games for nothing, for no reason. So, they're a great ball club, a veteran club, an experienced club in the postseason, and today you really just can't make mistakes to those guys. And I made a few mistakes and got away with a few mistakes today, but really the biggest key for me today was strike one and getting ahead of the guys.
21 home run, 4 of 10 so far in this series.
How do you compare the game earlier in the series with the one you won tonight?
I felt more comfortable today for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why, but I was a little more nervous for the first game, coming out of the bullpen and getting ready for the game. So today was really different for some reason. It was kind of freaking me out a little bit, to be honest with you. I wasn't really nervous. I was just really prepared to go out and pitch my game. And even when I got out there, it didn't really, it never really sunk in.
Getting an early lead, was that helpful to you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, anytime you can score runs early, and we scored, I think, in the first and the second. So, that helps your starting pitcher out a lot. But, Hampton, he did it to us the last time he pitched. He gave up a couple early and shut us down the rest of the day, and he looked like he was going to do that again today. So you don't really take anything for granted. You know that you still got to go out and pitch a good game.
Yeah, Kerry, you've been around long enough to where this whole Cubs lovable losing thing is kind of pounding down your throats for 5 years. Has that been a problem in the past, and what made it? How did you guys overcome?
You've been around long enough to have heard about the lovable losers in the Cubs, and how did you avoid the negativity that could go with that?
Well, the same way we've done all year long. We don't listen to it. We stay positive, and having Dusty in that seat helps. So hopefully we're not going to hear too much more of that. in the future.
Kerry Wood, cool, calm, and collected, talking to the media just like he was on the mound tonight. And with us, Kyle Farnsworth, Matt Clement. Boys, is the champagne flowing pretty good tonight or what?
Yeah, it's spraying everywhere. You know, media has no chance in that right now. Either is anybody else. So, I mean, this is awesome.
Put this into words, what you see, what you feel, what's going on inside your head right now.
How great's this up here right now? You know, you have all these fans that made the trip for one night. This is, you know, a lot of hard work, a whole year of hard work, and to make it this far, we aren't done yet. We still got some business to do, but we're going to celebrate tonight and then get ready to roll.
We're in the paper that Dusty Baker said that he expected in the heart of hearts that this would probably go 5 games. Did you guys think so?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the Braves are a great team themselves. You know, they won 100 games, you know, we're an underdog in this. That's what we like to be. I mean, someone who doesn't have a chance. I mean, we came and battled, you know, went 5 games, which we expected. You know, this is just awesome.
The thick play last night, you jammed your knee a little bit. It seems like it's okay. Tell us about how you're feeling, how you're doing with that.
Like I said, right now I can't feel a thing. I'm dead. And right now, nothing really bothers me, but no one.
Champagne,
what happened, you know, it stung and it was numb, but you know, right now it feels great right now. I mean, it's all been worth it.
And Matt, I'm sorry, Matt, last night had to be disappointing for you, but at the same time, with Kerry going tonight, you had to feel pretty good about the Cubs' chances going in.
Yeah, I think we feel anytime we have any of our starters going out there, we have a good chance. And, you know, Woody did a heck of a job tonight, and that's what it's all about, picking each other up. And, you know, he picked me up from yesterday, and hopefully we can keep this rolling.
Nice job, gentlemen.
Thanks a lot, Cal. Good to see you, Matthew, Kyle Farnsworth, and Matt Clement. I wanted to grab the little chin thing just to make sure it was real. Remember?
I wasn't touching that one. How about this one? The Braves with 6 straight now. 6 straight clincher games consecutively that they've lost.
In elimination situation.
In elimination situation in the playoffs.
I was just told by a producer we want to go to John Dempsey live in Wrigleyville. Am I right? John, take it away.
Corey, it's hard to believe, but just about 45 minutes ago, these streets behind me were absolutely empty. Everybody was inside the Cubby Bear. They were inside Goose Island. They were inside Bernie's. They were inside all these bars tonight watching the Cubs do something that people have been waiting for them to do for 95 years, go to the postseason. And all of this happened, all of the excitement started just a few innings ago, thanks to the bat of Aramis Ramirez. The crowd at the Cubby Bear went crazy after Aramis Ramirez home run put the Cubs up by 4 in the 6th inning. What do you think about that, Aramis Ramirez?
That was awesome, baby! That's the man, he's the man, he's got it going on!
The crowd was euphoric as the Cubs appeared on the brink of ending a 95-year postseason jinx.
We're making history tonight, like Dusty Baker said, history, 1908, 95 years. It's going to get wild here tonight. It doesn't matter if it's a Sunday night, it's going to be like a Friday night here in the city.
So it's finally time to end the jinx.
You know something? They're going to win it.
We're excited. We were actually at the Bears game earlier. We came over here to watch the Cubs win.
Cubs definitely have it here. Kerry Wood's not going to give up 2 runs. Cubs are going to take it 2-0, 2-1. You got it.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You know, the Bears won today. The Cubs are going to win today. We are victorious. Chicago's living it up.
Chicago police had a heavy contingent of officers, but a reduced presence compared to last night when the Cubs were home. The streets were also relatively clear early on, as most fans found a place in the bar, hoping against hope for a miracle tonight. Even the Cubs can't blow this one, right?
Well, let's not go there. Let's relax. Let's feel the moment. I think it's going to happen.
Because I imagine a lot of people are going to pour out into the streets if they win. Or, excuse me, when they win.
When they win.
It's true, yes, when they win.
Cub fans have been through so much heartache. It's hard for them to really be happy, but tonight it's not hard at all. As you can see, total friend here at Clark and Addison. Corey and Mark, back to you in Atlanta.
All right, John Dempsey. I think we're louder than you are here, though, but we've got some special guests once again to talk to.
We got Randall Simon and Mark Pryor, and gentlemen, Tell me something. How cool is this?
This is unbelievable. I think it's a blessing, and we thank God for everything He's doing for us and our club and the fans of Chicago. You can see that we got the best fans in the world, and we're just gonna enjoy it. And we know we got 2 more steps to go, but we're ready for it.
And Mark Pryor, going in tonight, knowing that your pal Kerry Wood was taking the mound, you had to feel pretty good about your chances, especially the way he handled these guys last week.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The way he threw Tuesday, I knew if we could just even do half of what he did on Tuesday, we'd be in good shape. And, we got that 1 run early in the game, and I felt like that was going to give him some momentum. And he just kept building and getting stronger and stronger. And, he's awesome. He's fun to watch.
Mark, what do you make of the addition of the Chicago Easter, the Pittsburgh fellas that came over and helped short things up?
These guys, I thank Pittsburgh's GM and everybody for letting these guys to us. They've been great. They've kind of jump-started us when we needed a jump start. In the last 6 weeks down the stretch after we got, Lofton, Ramirez, and obviously Simon here, they've just been big for us, huge for us, and I don't think we would be here without those 3 guys.
And Randall, describe this guy, 23 years old, doing what he's doing in the playoffs, 18 wins regular season. Damian Miller called him a freak the other day. Did you hear that?
I agree, too, because it's unbelievable what my boy Raheem Mark does. I mean, he believes, the most important thing is he believes in himself when he goes out on the mound. And there right there, every time when we're playing behind him and we see the confidence that he got, I mean, we're going to, it gives us the strength, to know that we're going to, get him the runs and give him the support that he needs, to do what he got to do on the mound.
All right, Le Freak, what about Tuesday against the Marlins?
Well, I don't know who's throwing for them. I don't even know who's throwing for us. But they got a great game, a great team. They've been playing great down the stretch, probably the best in the National League. And we saw what they did with the San Francisco Giants last week. So it's going to be a good series, and I think it's going to be another tight series too.
Explain one thing we didn't really figure it out yet. Kerry Wood, what was he doing with your glove exactly?
He made a little mistake and forgot to pack his own gloves. So. It was a quick turnaround last night.
So you bailed him?
I just let him borrow it.
Good luck charm.
Good luck charm. Yeah, he might use it again now.
All right. Keep it up. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Mark Pryor, Randall Simon. Thank you, gentlemen. Nice job. Thank you. Unbelievable. We're going to take a break right now. Much more to come live from Turner Field. By the way, it's still happening here. The place is abuzz.
5-1. Cubs win. Let's take a live shot look at Wrigley Field, and we'll be right back.
What do people see in the new Chrysler Pacifica? I see a woman who knows how to relax.
I see a man who knows where he's going in the world.
I see a painter, a parent, an individual.
I see a mom and a dad who are completely behind their kids.
Introducing the Chrysler Pacifica, well beyond the SUV.
Creating Chicago's best pizza begins with selecting the best ingredients. The best tomatoes, vegetables, meats, and cheeses all come together to create Giordano's famous stuffed pizza, which is why we wouldn't think of serving you anything but the best. From pizzas to the freshest salads, soups, spaghettis, lasagna, chicken parmesan, and much more. Giordano's, where being the best isn't just a slogan, it's a Chicago tradition for nearly 30 years. Giordano's famous stuffed pizza.
Small businesses may not expect the worst, but that doesn't stop them from preparing for it, on-site or online. Introducing SBC Yahoo DSL Business Edition. High-speed access that's more secure, thanks to antivirus and firewall protection. Just $29.95 a month, guaranteed. Seeing small business differently. SBC.
And I'd like to apologize for the delay at the gate and almost positive mechanics are finally able to repair the whole vehicle. We do have a very full flight today, so everyone who's over and carry on luggage and find their seats.
Do you like French or Italian? What would you say your
You never know how good you have it until you leave it in the long-term lot. The spacious Civic sedan from Honda.
Back live at Turner Field, Cubs fans and the Cubs themselves celebrating the win tonight, the Division Series win, and the trip to the NLCS. Eric Karros in the house. Mr. October, what's up with you?
I'll tell you what, it's been a great run so far. You know, everybody contributed tonight. Woody was phenomenal, goes without saying. Ramirez, Gonzalez, big hits, and that's kind of been, the entire year. It's been a different guy each day, and that's why we're here right now.
Tell us about yesterday. How you feeling today after the Fick incident?
Oh, I feel great right now, I'll tell you that. The hour-and-a-half flight was definitely worth it coming down here. To win here in Atlanta, it's a tough place to play. We beat a great Braves ball club, and, celebrate tonight. Now we got our work cut out for us with Florida.
And you got the camera going. I'm guessing you got some pretty good pictures tonight.
Got some good stuff. I got some quality stuff, and I'll tell you what, I still got tape. So, I got to run it for a couple more series.
And we were just talking before we came on. You looked around and you said, this is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, this is almost like playing a home game with all the fans here. They've stuck around, and, even during the game, you could hear them. They were drowning out the Braves fans, and that's saying something. And I'll tell you what, our fans travel unbelievably well. I mean, the support that we've had this year is second to none, and like to keep going to see how loud they can get.
Talk about lack of support. The Fish down in Florida with their fans. Tell me about what you think the series is going to look like.
Well, it's going to be something. I mean, they've been playing extremely well, and, they're putting 60,000 in the seats right now. So it's going to be something to play down there in that venue. They've been, like I said, they've been playing well, been getting some good pitching. The two guys at the top of the lineup are tough to shut down. So, like I said, we can enjoy this for a bit, but we're going to have our work cut out for us against the Marlins.
Eric, thanks so much. Good luck, and we'll see you Tuesday night.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Congratulations. Having a great series, Division Series, wants more, and he is pumped up. He's got the video camera working. And
here comes the shampoo, Kerry Wood.
Kerry wants to fire up some champagne in the stands. Who else is over there? Aramis, Ramirez.
Why don't you go shag him down?
Okay. Go.
I'll toss to Harry Carey. Lauren Cohn is standing by. She had Dutchie Carey. Lauren, take it away.
Hey, Mark. There is no better place for Cubs fans to watch this game than Harry Carey's. Unbelievable. The fans rocking the house down. So excited tonight. Take a look at this. Nobody's left. Everybody's still here. And we've got our star, Dutchie Carey. Dutchie, what do you think?
What I think, this is wonderful. How exciting. This place is up for grabs.
What would Harry say?
Wow, he would love this. I tell you, he would really be in heaven.
I want to know how you lifted the curse. How did you do that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How did you lift the curse?
How did I?
You got rid of the curse.
Yeah, the curse. Oh, I don't believe in that to begin with.
And what do you think we're going to do to Florida? We're going to get...
Oh, I think that's going to be easy. Yeah, go for 4.
This crew is going to party through the night, you guys. They are just excited. They are rocked. What an awesome group of fans. What an awesome game. I'll send it back to you guys in Atlanta.
Okay, Lauren, thank you very much. I'm going to walk over here and see if I can get a microphone in on Kerry Wood. Can I have a little slack here? Hold on 1 second.
7 earned runs in 58 innings.
Need a little more slack. Can I get some?
Pitcher you've always wanted to become this last month or so, the way you put your game all together?
Well, I mean, everybody likes, we play this game to pitch in big games, and in the last month and a half down the stretch, every game we played in was big, and I think our starting staff has thrived on that and pitching in big games, and we've stepped up as a staff, and Mark and Carlos and even Matty, everybody's thrown the ball well, and these are the games we want to pitch in.
It seems like Johnson and Schilling. Do you see like yourself being that, you and Pryor?
No, I'm not going to compare. We're Kerry and Mark, and that's the way I look at it. And I'm not comparing myself to anybody. Everybody can compare if they want to, but I'm just doing my job.
And Gary, it seems like you've gained a new kind of emotional stability on the mound where you don't get angry, you don't get upset, you're just even-keeled all the time.
Well, it's something that I needed to do. I mean, I got myself in more trouble than it hurt me more than it helped me to be emotional like that on the mound. And in these games, you can't let anything get you out of your rhythm. And the play tonight, I thought Kenny caught the ball in center field, and it didn't work out our way. We didn't get the call, but we still had a man on first and pretty good hitter at the plate. So I had to, you got to continue to do your job.
Did you want to finish that game off?
Of course. I mean, I would always love to be out there and finish the game, and that's our goal from the first pitch on is to go 9. But they came over and said that was enough.
Give us a thought on the Marlins. You beat them 4-6 this year. They're playing great baseball right now and seem to have a lot of momentum.
They're a great baseball team, and there's no doubt about it. They do the fundamentals right, and they got a good pitching staff. They got great hitters. So it's another big series for us with another great team we got to go up against. But we're going to go get it done.
Kerry Wood live on field. This just after he sprayed bottles of champagne on the 400 or 500 people on this section. There's probably, I would say, all told, 3,000 to 4,000 people still here. Larry, why don't you switch around here and show everybody? You see the signs. Wood, unchoppable. We got Wood. Starting Wood tonight. 4 play is over. Cubs have it in 5. And they are celebrating. The great thing is the Atlanta people in charge here haven't kicked them out yet, which is a good thing. They're celebrating. And we're going to take a break right now, but we got much more to come here at Turner Field. As you look at Wrigley Field, Wrigleyville is rocking tonight. Chicago Cubs fans in heaven. Back with more after this.
I'm David Navarro. Monday on Fox News in the Morning, we'll have all the excitement and action surrounding the Cubs' big weekend, good and bad. And she's steaming up the big screen with Denzel Washington. We'll talk to the sexy Eva Mendes. Plus, need some seasonal cash, a guide to who's hiring for the holidays.
Watch Fox News in the Morning, Monday morning at 7.
The IRS hires Homer.
They want you to spy on your friends?
Let's spy squeal.
The Simpsons.
Monday at 6 on Fox Chicago.
Serve that chicken from Popeyes. Kevin Butler.
That's right, and I'm as hungry as a bear.
You need the deal. 8 pieces of our delicious chicken for just $6.99.
What do you think, butthead?
The Hyundai Elantra, a comparison, more standard features, and a more powerful engine than a Honda Civic LX. All for over $2,000 less when comparably equipped. And only the Elantra is protected by America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Looks like we have a winner. Test drive the Hyundai Elantra, nicely equipped for just $11,439 at your Hyundai dealer. Hurry into the Hyundai winning season clearance and get up to $2,000 cash back or 0% APR for up to 60 months.
No two are the same. Their lives are as different as concrete and consulting, medicine and manufacturing. Here's to the small business owners, separated by the differences in where each is going, bound by the confidence they'll get there. Seeing small business differently. SBC.
With this computer, you can even edit and burn home movies on DVD.
That'll be great for the stuff we'll shoot on vacation.
Mm-hmm. Oh, where are you going? Rafting.
That's it, Larry. Good job, buddy. Keep paddling, sweetie. Where's Boo?
Did I mention you can edit stuff out? That'd be good.
Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. Best Buy.
Next time you think about going to Florida, think Southwest Airlines. Right now, fly nonstop from Chicago Midway to select cities in Florida for just $79.
You are now free to move about the country.
Want more of a good thing?
Bear size it.
That's right, butthead. Bear size any meal and get a regular side for just 99 cents or a large side for just $1.99.
Hurry, this offer's too good to last. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Well, do the Marlins love Fred fresh water or not, they're going to get a taste of it right on the shores of Lake Michigan. The Chicago Cubs, the Division Series champions, 5-1 tonight. What a game.
What a game. Cubs win the series 3-2, and the key man in this whole, they're singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." They can't stop themselves. The key man in this whole sequence here, the whole season, is a guy named Johnny B. Baker, sometimes called Dusty Baker. Last November, when he came on as manager of the Cubs, somebody said, "Are you the savior?" He said, "No, I'm not the savior. I'm Dusty." Well, tonight, Cubs fans may disagree. Here's Dusty at the podium addressing the media moments ago.
I'm a new guy in town, and I'm starting to comprehend it when I hear the fans out there and the amount of fans that we had, in the stands every game that we came, to Atlanta. And I just got to, thank God for, putting me in the situation to make me choose Chicago. And I'm just forever grateful and thankful to, to all my players and everybody. And I don't know, probably won't comprehend it till I get home and see my wife and my son. Right.
Could you talk about Wood's performance tonight?
Well, his performance was that's an excellent performance. He had 2 of them in this series. And if there's MVP in this series, it should be Kerry Wood to me, because to come here in Atlanta and beat them twice, and the second time is especially tough, because they just saw him the other day. He did pitch tonight. He was under control. He was composed. One time he was about to lose a little bit, and he backed off. And you can really see his maturity as a person and as a pitcher. And this is going to go a long, long ways. Not only this year, but it's going to go a long ways in his life and his career.
Right after Sheffield's line drive, there was a double play immediately following that. How big was that?
Well, that was real big, because these Braves, boy, once the gates open, it's hard to close it on them. I've seen it for years and years, and they start hitting that ball. Boy, they start hitting that ball all over the stadium. But I thought that Kenny caught the ball, especially being an outfielder in the past. I could tell by his glove position, I thought he caught the ball. And that would have been a double play in itself. But, when they broke the ice and made it 4-1, and then I was like, oh, no. Please don't let these Braves start pounding on that ball. And then we got the big double play to Chipper Jones. Off the bat of Chipper Jones, one of the best hitters in this league. And then we breathed a little easier, and our next step was to get some more runs.
You talked about keeping Lou healthy. How big was his contribution in this series?
Well, Mo was huge. Mo's our clutch man. He's our clutch RBI man. And, Mo, he's no stranger to postseason, and he's no stranger to success in the postseason. You look at his record, and he always does well in the postseason. So it was big for us to keep Mo healthy and try to spot him some, and just, keep him on the field and keep him healthy and strong.
1 or 2 more.
Yes. Right.
The performance of Wooden prior the last 6 weeks of the season, do you see them really coming on with the big performances?
Yeah, it's hard to do any better than they did. 12-2 and a low ERA, and your team feels very comfortable, but you can't win it with 2 guys. You can't exclude, what Matt Clement did, and you certainly can't exclude, the efforts of Carlos Zambrano, because he had a stretch there. He won like 6-7 in a row, and then Estes had that big game for us in Cincinnati that really put us in a position to win the season. And then in Pryor's absence, Cruz had 2 or 3 very good starts in there too. So yeah, you got to win it with your whole staff. Farnsworth came on strong in that same period of time, and as well as Remlinger and Borowski was great all year long. So it was a total team and a total staff effort.
Total team effort. Dusty Baker came up as a young player in the Braves organization. He's turned into a Braves killer last year, knocked these guys off in 5 games when he was the skipper for the Giants. Does the same thing this year with the Cubs. The Braves don't want to see him come back for a long time.
Got that right. He had probably one of these on top of his head, one of 250 they had in the clubhouse. Not a bad year.
Yeah. And most of it, by the way, was not consumed, I can tell you that.
A lot of it went up here on the Cubs South over here.
It sure did. Want to remind you what's coming up next for the Cubs. Game 1, the National League Championship Series. Boy, that sounds good. Wrigley Field, 6:30, our pregame show. 7 o'clock game time. Post-game coverage, extended news coverage following, of course, the Marlins lost to the Cubs 4 of 6 encounters this year. The Cubs will go with Carlos Zambrano in Game 1.
We're tapped out, Robin and Walter. Let's toss it back from Wrigley Field South, Turner Field, to you at Cubs Central.
Okay, I wish you'd do a little more out there. It looks like so much fun. And indeed,
we'll be back.
Okay, not a bad year. I think Cubs fans would agree.
I would
We're
agree.
not talking about the champagne either.